Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Touring Car Sim Racing League from Zandvoort this evening. And I am your commentator. That is me, Andy Pawley, and I will be here with you for the next about 2 hours, providing all proceedings go as planned. If you were here last week, you will know that we had some technical difficulties for a reason. And because we had those technical difficulties, obviously the stream went on for about 2 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, so a little bit longer than expected. As always, come and say hi. Our chat's always a little bit quiet, but I can always see lots of you lurking in the background. Please say hi, come over. We're all there. We are on Discord. We have 10 minutes left of this practice session, and then we have a 10-minute qualifying, which then takes us into race 1. Race 2, 15 minutes long as well. Race 2 is determined, start positions determined of the finishing positions of race 1. And then race 3, and then race 3 is reversed of race 1, basically. But at top 8 are guaranteed to reverse, but because there's only 18 drivers starting tonight, it's positions 8 to 11 will be done through the random draw. So please keep an eye out for that. Right, while we have a bit of time, let's get over to the Drivers' Championship. There is a class system that's now in base. Please come and join us on Discord. Next week I will update it, and you will have some more information surrounding that. But as it currently stands, there it is. Lloyd is leading by Pascal, Benny, Neil, Van Skeppen, by Shaw's, Mark and T-Joke, Trebek, Wilson, Butcher. Butcher's not running tonight. He's just not running. And then you've got Flack, Deany, Deeks, Papa Dim. Rich Witherhill has unfortunately dropped out. His son is in a basketball league, so he is taking care of business. I don't have the song, but if I did, I'd be playing that right now. Ashbourne Semenga no longer races with us. Kane Alexander, his Civic is broken. Apparently got an oil leak, so he may or may not be racing tonight, but I get the feeling, because we haven't seen him yet, he probably won't be running. Shame, because he is leading his class. Then we've got Kirby, Neil and Campion, and then Luke Dugdale, who again, I don't think Luke is running this evening. That's how it stacks up in terms of the Drivers' Championship. Maximum ballast is for Lloyd, who's currently down in 11th place in terms of speed. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky, I think, for the drivers tonight. It's all going to be about consistent pace. Teams Championship, there it stacks up. Please pause it if you want to have a look. Tripspick Motorsports, that's the two Seat boys. That is Lloyd and Jean Petra. They're currently leading. Then you've got Eurotech, which is Shaw's and Markham. And then Norfolk Races, which is Benny Norton and Poddy Flack. And then obviously the rest of the field further down. Then you've got the teams table, which is just the teams. That's on your top right. And then below that, you've got the solo teams. Please pause it, have a look, check it out. We'll be there all day. And then we've got the Creative Trophy. This is formerly the Dugdale Trophy. Yes, and if you're wondering, I do have a cold this evening. And that's how it currently stacks up. So you can see that Jean Petra is currently leading that. He hasn't had a race victory yet. So if you take a race victory, you cannot, in the current season, you automatically come out of this table. And it's also based on positions gained and lost, which is why Benny Norton is second and Aaron Markham is third. Because those two drivers, even though Markham hasn't won a race, nor has Norton did come close in the opening race of the season. Race 3, go back, go watch it, really, really good. Because he's gained a lot of positions. Last week he gained a hell heap of positions. He gets more points. So that's how it stacks up. This is the calendar. As always, there's a Season 5. We're halfway through. It's the 17th of May. That is today. We're halfway through the season, and then we basically have a week off next week. We're at Zandvoort, whole week off, and then we're back on the 31st of May for Red Bull, the Red Bull Ring, then Laguna Seca, then Silverstone, and then down to Brands Hatch to finish off the Season 5 as it stacks up. So yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting. That's what we're watching now in terms of the Tcsrl. We're live now with rounds 10, 11 and 12. We are live on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, then you're probably watching me on YouTube. That's why you can see it. And then don't forget, you've got the penultimate round of the Trip 6 Motorsport season this week out, rounds 15 and 16 at Donington Park. That's this Sunday, 8 p.m. Go watch it. It is absolutely fantastic racing series. I would recommend it. Yeah, and that's how it stacks up in terms of where we are. So, yeah. It's going to be very, very exciting. Let's put the Auto Direct back on, get the standings information up and everything else running. DB Trance, nice to see you again. This circuit is tyre wrecker. Yeah, it is. The guys in practice had been talking about the ballast. The ballast is going to play a massive key here. Shaw's is currently 9th fastest, and he's in that gaggle of cars that's basically from 5th all the way down to 10th, 11th, which... yeah, they're all basically stuck together. It's a very hard track to pass at. It's very, very tricky. And the biggest problem that they actually have, it's tyre wear. It's going to be tyre wear because when they were practicing, by the end of the race, even the Seat Cupra had basically lost most of its front left tyre through degradation, which was quite surprising, to be honest. It's usually the car of choice. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they manage that. That's Luke. He's just come back in. So we do have the 19 drivers in. That's exactly the number that I was expecting for this evening. We might get one more, which is Kane Alexander, but I don't know. We will see. We will see. We'll see what's happening with this Civic. So it's going to be very, very tricky in terms of the tyre wear here. Degradation in our league is set to 2 times. So it is twice the normal tyre degradation. Over anything above 15 minutes in a race, that tyre degradation really, really does hurt, which is why we run it at 15 minutes. Each of the 3 races is 15 minutes. There you can see T-Joke, 4th currently fastest in the Lincoln Co, going up the other end of the track. So, yeah, that's why we run it. So it's going to be very, very tricky. Luke's putting a pace in at the moment, and it will show Luke, basically, because with 3 minutes 25 remaining of the opening practice session, he's basically the only one out setting any form of a lap. Yeah, it's saying that he's fastest, but he will be on fastest predominantly because he hasn't set a lap yet. So he will be at the back of the grid, I believe. He'll be down in 16th position, but Kirby, Neil and Campion 16th, 17th and 18th, and Luke, they're all in Group C in terms of their racing, so they are all fighting each other for that championship position. So for Group C champion, Kane Alexander is currently leading that. He's actually leading that currently in terms of his points. Yeah, he's 118 points against Derek Neal's 85. So it's going to be very tricky. Simon Trebek is leading Group B. Where is Trebek? He's in 14th. He's in 14th at the moment. It's showing up as not in there because he hasn't set a lap while I've been on, why it's invalid. Behind that, you've got T-Joke, who's on 72, level pegged with Poddy. T-Joke's ahead because he's had more race victories. Deeks is in 4th, Dini's 5th, Papadim is 6th, Ashbourne 7th, and 8th is Tamanga. Makes no difference in terms of Group B. And then Group A, you've got Lloyd Shaw's. So Lloyd is currently leading that on 96. Shaw's is second on 71. Van Skeppen is on 61. Stu Neal is on 53. And John Petra is on 49. So yeah, it's going to get very, very interesting, I think, in terms of where we are. So yeah, we will see. If I actually put the right table in here, let's have a look. No. So we are running on the old table. Isn't that nice? These things are here to try to test us. So let's just quickly save up the image, and hopefully we should be able to get the correct table for you. Let's have a little look here. No, because that would be way too easy. So what we're going to do is quickly go into the live, hit that. And there we go. So there's the actual live table. So I do apologise for that on stream, as we said. So actually, Lloyd is currently leading. Shaw's is in 2nd on 110. So Van Skeppen's on 99 point. John Petra's there on 4th. Trebek is in 5th. Neil's in 6th. Good opportunity for Neil, actually, to get some absolutely stonking points. T-Joke's in 7th. Norton's in 8th. Markham is in 9th. Butcher's in 10th, Flax in 11th, Papadim, Wilson Deeks, Dearney, Ashbourne, Weatherhill, Tamanga, Kane, and that's what I was talking about. Kane it leads that Group C, so he's going to miss out on a whole host of points tonight, which will really hurt him in terms of where he needs to be. So, but it is, you have to, at the end of the day, you've got to be in it to win it, and he's not here, so he's not going to win it. There's the event information as we get through the end of the practice session. If you're interested, we'll get through this, and then we will get to the qualifying session and race 1. So current fastest leader, Nick Papadim on a 1:45.781. He is unballasted, don't forget, Nick Papadim. So I am expecting Nick to basically be somewhere near the top, and if this early pace is to set, then I suspect he will take a victory this time out. So it's going to be really interesting to see who can actually convert their practice session into that pole position. We'll keep an eye on the board. We're going to hit the director's suggestion, and Jean Petra is currently going first. So we'll keep an eye on him through the board. On the left side of the screen, you can't see it, but it gives me an indication of where we are. So he's actually reset already. So Nick Papadim, we'll keep on board with Nick Papadim. This is on board with him. This is the penultimate corner. So we go through here. This is a right followed by a right. Some class it as 1 corner, other classes as 2 corner. Let's bring up that vehicle information. So there you can see in 4th gear, he's absolutely wringing the neck of that little Alfa Romeo, number 25. It should be a dominant car around here. It's unballasted, and he's absolutely nimble. Now remember, 143 is what we're looking for through the right-hander. This is the first hairpin. Good overtaking opportunity, but then the track pincers at this section. They'll all be squabbling through here to try and sort themselves out, to get themselves into a line as they go through into this over section. And this is an absolutely brutal hairpin through the left-hander, and then you go over a crest of a hill, building the speed up, and you've got to be so careful through this section as it turns right and then into the left. Going down here to the front camera, you can see you get the clip here wrong and you're off into the kitty litter. He could have taken a bit more there than he could have, and he's run wide. He's absolutely missed the apex going through that section of corners. Then it's a hard right-hander. He's right down the board. Shaw's is the one setting the timing streams alight at the moment, but we're going to follow Papadim because on the board he is first across the line in that top section. 46.878. We're going to put to Shaw's quickly. He's going purple. No, he's given up. He's absolutely given up. Van Skeppen. Home turf here for the Dutchman. He's green, purple sector 1, purple sector 2, 114.870. He's carrying ballast on board this car at this time, so it's going to be tricky for him, I think. To really be able to convert this, he's going to have to absolutely extract the maximum out of this car. 143.144. It's not going to be good enough. He'll put him on provisional pole position. Jean Petra's going faster. 146.123. I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to be good enough. Perfectly honest, I don't think we've turned up the wiki. Yeah, there's the Jean Petra's got less ballast on board, 148. Stu Neal's on a bit of a fly here. Well, he's on a fly, but he's gone purple on the board. Craig Deek's going to cross the line. We're just following them through the board. He'll place himself somewhere in the middle of that field. Yeah, into 11th he goes. Trebek crosses the line. He's going to start his lap. We'll keep an eye on the board to see where they are. Derek Neal's coming up. Papadim is out on a flying lap. He's done 1.17th of the lap. He hasn't gone through sector 1 just yet, but we'll keep an eye on that. We're with Trebek currently. There he is, Seat Cooper, number 27. He's put himself at 15th because he's the basically last of the board. Ian Deaney's on a bit of a lap here. He's 5/10 up. Shaw's is going a little bit faster. He's currently in 15th because he hasn't set a pace time yet. Ian Deaney is in 12th. As it stands, is he going any faster? Not really. So he's 5/10 off. He's kind of in that middle field. Last time out, he had that little bit of a contact with Butcher in race 2, and as the wheel snapped, he basically nearly broke his finger. So he's returning this week, so that's going to be interesting. Is that injury going to play him up? Is it going to hurt him? Podiflex going a little bit faster through the sector. He's currently 3rd fastest. 4/10 off Jake Wilson, who's popped in at 145. The track will evolve. This is going to be key. We're just watching Ian Deaney at the minute. What can he do as he crosses the line? He's going to pop himself somewhere somewhere in the probably about 10th position. Yeah, right into 10th he goes. What's Poddy Flack up to? How's he doing in the sectors? Jean-Petra's regained his second. Shaw's has popped in to third. Poddy Flack is currently 2/10 off provisional pole position. He's 200ths up in sector 1, and he's 2/10 down in sector 2, so he needs a good final sector riding on board as we go through the penultimate corner. Down onto the home straight we go. Can he do anything here? Can he deliver anything here? Qualifying is going to be absolutely crucial at this track as he crosses the line. No, 2/10. 2/10, he puts himself into second, but nowhere near where he needs to go. What can Neil do as he crosses the line? He stays fifth. Wilson currently fastest by 2/10 of a second. 2/10 of a second. Where's he pulled that lap out for? Absolutely sensation. He's on a flying lap. Right, Nick Papadim is going for it. He's 3/100ths of a second off in provisional pole position, so that put him solidly into second place. Through sector 1. It's this sector 2 time seems to be on the board where all drivers are slowly but surely starting to lose it. That's what's really hampering them. Trebek's currently making a little bit of progress, but we're staying on board now with Papadim. He's all the way down in 8th. He's green, he's 1/10 up. There it is, it's that sector 2 time. He's up 1/10 of a second, as near as it makes no difference in sector 2. How has he done that? No ballast on board and his tyres are at optimum temperature. He's probably running on fumes going through this final sector. Can he do anything here? He's looking at that current rate. He'll put in a 1:45.4. That's the number we're looking for. Can he do a 1:45.4? He crosses the line. What does he do? A 1:45.5. Papadim's bumped himself back in to third. Jean-Petra is all the way down in second. We're watching Trebek, who's improving on his lap time at the moment as he crosses the line. Keeping an eye on the board. Everyone who keeps improving their times. He's going to go somewhere, I think, around 9th. What does he do? Pops himself across the line, goes to 12th. He's lost a lot of time in that final sector. Where's Wilson? Has he got any faster in this first sector? No, because he's in the first sector. So he hasn't got, I think he's trying out race pace here. He must have had a lap invalidated. He's put himself into first again on a 1:45.599. His lap was invalidated. The lap was invalidated. The lap was invalidated, and because of that, Wilson regains it. So Poddy Flack is currently on 1/10. He's up. He's up 1/10 up in personal best, which means he's 1/10 away from provisional pole position. He's currently in 4th. If he keeps that pace up, he'll be on the top 3. Probably on the second row, but he's suffered in these recent weeks. Neil's down and currently in 5th position. What can he do? 1:45, sector 3, into 3rd he goes. He made it up. He lost all his time in sector 2. Papadim's on a flyer again. He's in 4th. Alfa Romeo, number 25. Benny Norton's going faster, currently in 7th. And Markham, who's currently in 11th, is also going up the board. We're staying with Nick Papadim. See what he can do in this sector. He's been mighty in sector 2. Don't forget, when he put his provisional pole lap in, he was fastest. There it is, 1/10 of a second faster. As near as makes no difference. He has to keep this pace up through these final 2 corners. And they are long, long corners. The Alfa Romeo just doesn't have the guts as it gets into that. He'll get one more bite at the cherry through this sector if he wants to go for provisional pole position. Jake Wilson is currently there on a 1:45.599. Followed by Jean-Petra, second. Flack is third. Can Papadim pop it on the front row? 1:44. No. Yes, no. Does he get invalidated? No. Boom, into pole position by 600ths of a second. He won't get another go at that. That'll be it. He's run out of time. Where's Benny Norton? Benny Norton won't get enough time. Benny Norton goes into pole position at 1:45.42. It's all to play for now. Where is Ashbourne? He's going fastest, currently in 12th. 2/10 of a second, 5/10 of a second up in personal sector. He needs to get out of 12th. If he can keep this pace up, he'll be mid-table between 8th and 11th is where it's coming up. Championship leader Lloyd is currently in 10th position. It's that ballast, 80 kilograms on board, don't forget. Be really hurting him through this sector. And he's, like I said, he's doing well carrying with the ballast, but Shaw's 3-time champion has run with maximum ballast for a lot of the time. So he's going to be a massive clawback of points here. What can Ashbourne do? Pops himself into 11th. Goes into 11th. Ian Deeney's not going to go anything from here. I'm not sure anyone else is going to cross the line. Ian Deeney's he's 47 seconds off, so he'll get one more go at this, and then I think that will be it, basically. I don't think he's going to really be able to do anything from this position. It's 37 seconds left. It's been topsy-turvy at the top of the table. Norton, Papadim, Wilson, Jean Petra, all have been pole position sitters. Van Skeppen's down in 12th place. Yeah, I'm not sure anyone else is going to go any faster. Let's just show those off for the minute. This is Jean Petra currently down in 4th position. He's 1/10, so he could get himself possibly into 3rd position if he can manage it, if he can hold it. But he's got ballast on board, so it's all going to come down there. He's going to run out of time. He's going to run out of time. Same as Nick Papadim and say as Bill Campion down in 19th. But as it stands, that will be your provisional pole position. So Benny Norton takes his first pole of the season, followed by Papadim, Wilson, Jean Petra, Flack, Neil, George in 7th, 2nd in the championship, Markham 8th, T-Joke 9th, Lloyd is in 10th. He needs to stay there for the reverse grid, ideally. Ashbourne's 11th, Van Skeppen's 12th, Trebek, Deeks, and then everybody else. So it's all to play for. There they all are, lined up in the row to the car, to the second-hand side. This is the event. We're at the circuit Zandvoort 2019. We're on the Grand Prix circuit. This is race 1. I am your commentator. That is me. I don't have a beard now, and I've got a lot less hair, funny enough. And I will be here for the front 3 races. This is race 1. It's 15 minutes long, 2 times tyre wear, 30 incident points as well. And that is key, because you can't just go sending it up the inside. The opening lap, I think, is going to be very, very argy-bargy would be the word I would use, because they're all going to scrabble to get into each other. The field spread is so close in each of the classes that it makes it so difficult. You'll see it up on the board. And then we will be lights out. So the lights will start flashing. It's 10 lights, and we will all go. Watch the lights at the top. They will go flash, 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 and then we will go racing, and it will be exciting. And it's go, go, go. It's lights out, and away we go. And who has had a fantastic start off the line? Ashbourne's managed to hold on to it. Benny Norton's holding on to the lead, but Papadim and Wilson are side by side into turn 1. Do they all get through nice and neatly? They're going to have to a little bit of an argy-bargy as they hold on. And outside the 25 goes. Papadim has gone right to the back of the field. There's Benny Norton in 84. Sorry, that's Poddy Flack. He's side by side with Papadim into this corner. They're still going to be side by side as they go through into the hairpin, riding from the rear camera. This is 4th place. This is Poddyman. There is Neil. There is Papadim side by side behind that. That is Shaw's. He's there ready to pounce. He's got Aaron and Lloyd right behind him. They're 2 by 2 into this section of the track. Somebody's going to have to yield. Who's it going to be? It's Papadim. He thinks better of it. No, he doesn't. He runs wide. He runs wide off into the kitty litter. He goes. Comes on behind T-Jones. Hand in hand. Collects himself new pair of pants for that man. Sensational stuff. Into the corner we go. Lloyd is making progress. There he is. But he's got T-Joke all over his rear end. Doing all he can. There is T-Joke. You've got Papadim now headed up behind Trebek. He absolutely lost a whole heap of places. He's side by side there with that's Simon Ashbourne. Ashbourne's in the 31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DHL Audi. He is going to try and slot in behind the man behind. Can he do it riding from the rear camera? This is 11. This is Trebek. Look at Ashbourne. Confidence on the brakes. Says, I'm coming through. Muscles his way in as he gets himself ticked that box. Sensational there from Simon in the 31. Confidence in the background. In the battle for the back of the field. There is Luke. He's up to 16th place. Derek Neal and Bill Campion Those two are fighting each other. There is Bill Campion returning from 2 weeks off. Right, this is Lloyd at the front. There is Benny Norton. He's on the left side. But we are watching Lloyd and T-Joke riding on board now with T-Joke. Here he is in 8th position. Does he look to send it up the inside? He's going to have to be absolutely confident that he can do that. He squeezes side by side. They give each other room. He's so much more confidence on the brake. Lloyd isn't going to let him go, but he'll be on the outside into this corner. They're still side by side. Lloyd will hang it up the inside and retake the position. Has he done it? Yes! Sensational move there from Lloyd. He says if you're coming through, you've got to be confident. He closes that door solidly shut. He's in 8th position. He wants 8th because it's a guaranteed at the front for race 3. Well, he'll be close to the front depending on how the cards fail. T-Joke's going, I want to make progress, slipping and sliding there. That through that long right-hander. T-Joke is in the Zeehan. We're riding on board now with Lloyd. And you can see from the rear camera, there is the Lincoln Co. Favourite looking car. The man should win every race in my point, but there we go. Into this corner. He's in the 12th. Behind that, there is Van Skeppen. He's absolutely applying the pressure. John Petra is attacking Wilson. Benny Norton is going for his first race victory. Right, Kirby and Campion are off the road. Campion's off the road. They'll put him right at the back. This is back to Trebek. This is the battle for 11th and 10th position. In 11th position, Simon Trebek. He's in the 27. 1, 2, boom, there he is. That bright yellow car, 27. German racer, but he's actually British. Right ahead of him. That is the 60. That's the Van Skeppen in the other car. That one, the Seat, that one, yeah, the 88. He's not going 88 miles an hour. Trying to keep up with that. There he is, trying to do all he can here, riding from the rear camera of Van Skeppen. This is a 10th position. Behind that is 11th position. 11 minutes to go. Behind that in the 31 is Ashbourne, in the DHL bright colour yellow Audi. It is Cupra versus Cupra. Boom, there he is. Behind that, he's poking his nose out as well. Right, Jake Wilson is now the cork in the bottle. So there is Jake Wilson riding on board with Wilson. He's in 2nd position. This is the battle for 2nd. There is 3rd. That is John Petra. Behind that is Poddy Flack. He's in the 84. Poddy Flack is having to be a little bit careful this time out. He's on 8 points in terms of his licence. So he's going, I just want to pick off some places, tick some boxes and stay at the front. He's found some real pace in the second half of the season, but it's those little things that creep in. Same as Wilson. He's carrying 4 points on his licence at the moment. Oh, he's sliding in. I think he's struggling for tyre grip there. He's the Peugeot. Second car in your picture. The 1-2, that bright white Peugeot. 308, 208, don't know what car it is, but it's that one, the Motel front bonnet. He's absolutely doing all he can. Right, Neil and Markham. Markham's going to go up the inside of Neil. Does he get the job done? Yes, he does. Neil's just thinking about his championship there. That's all he's thinking about. Oh, there's a little bit of a love tap from the back there, but there's no love lost between those two. Wilson and Jean Petra side by side as they go up into this head sharp right-hander. Somebody's going to have to yield. Who's it going to be? Whoa, there's contact between the two drivers. Muscles his way through, holds it nice and tidy, gets the job done, ticks that box, but that's put Wilson really off, and that's allowed Poddy Flack right on the rear end. But you can see now, riding from the rear camera of, this is Aaron Markham. Look at Neil. He's an absolute cork in the bottle there. He's in the 99. Behind the 99, Wilson and Wilson are going for it as well. So we flip back to the battle for 4th and 3rd. This is 4th. This is Poddy Flack. Ahead of that, Jake Wilson. He's in 3rd. Ahead of that is 2nd and 1st. Whoa, he's really struggling. That little Peugeot is absolutely all over the road as they all brake hard down the gearbox. They go into that section of the race. Can they do anything here? The gap to the lead. Benny Norton's in the lead by Jean Petra. That is 1 second. Nearest us makes no difference. But we leave that battle and rejoin the battle for 10th position. So in 10th position, that's the wrong blinking thing. There we go. In 10th position, that is Van Skeppen. He's absolutely doing all he wants to do from this position. He's looking left, he's looking right, over the crest of the hill he goes. He's being absolutely hounded by Trebek in 11th. There he is. Trebek is the 1-2 second car, that yellow car with the red stripes, 27, black roof. He's not on the roof, not yet he isn't, but we'll see when he goes round the corner. Let's count him. 1, 2, 3, 4 wheels, all on the road, all on the right way. Tick that box. At the front, they're all squabbling. Neil's trying to get past Markham again, but Markham is going to leave just enough room to allow, he's gone wide. The problem is Neil's going to have to go wide, and because he's gone wide, he's just lost a load of points. So he's lost absolutely loads of points. I wonder if he had a slowdown penalty. I wonder if that was the cause of that. You can see there in 25 in the back, that's Nick Papadim, who was on second when he made that one mistake and he went backwards. And there he is, he's even behind Ashbourne now. Wondering what happened with Neil there. He went a bit wide, but that's how it is sometimes. At the front, the first three have all kind of calmed themselves down now, but Trebek, who is right on the heels here, riding on board now with Trebek, he's in 11th, and you can see here he's gaining. But the problem is Trebek is gaining on Van Skeppen is gaining on Neil. So Van Skeppen's going to have to take a dive up the inside. Whoa, that was a very late dive. Neil's not going to let him get away with that. Neil's going to be elbows out. No, he's let him past. He's let him back through, and by letting him back through, that's just compromised him so much. Great racing etiquette there from Van Skeppen. Absolutely tick that box from Van Skeppen, but he's scumpered his own race because of it. It's absolutely hampered him. He's back down in 11th behind Trebek now. Papadim's making progress, so is Tijo. There he is in 12th. He's right on the back of Lloyd. Those two have been stuck together like glue for the whole race. Poddy Flack's now on the back of Wilson. We will keep an eye on the battles as they develop. You can see in the front there. But as we ride now from Lloyd, he's in 7th, championship leader. 80 kilograms on board. This is where it's going to hurt. This is where it's really going to start to cause him problems in terms of his race pace, because he's going to have so much degradation. It's going to be so heavy on this car that T-Joke in 12th will pounce. Neil in the 99, there he is just behind him as well. Neil should have that ability, but he's carrying ballast as well. And there was that, I think it must have been a slowdown penalty. Must have been a slowdown penalty from Neil. Sparks flying. He's going to attempt to go up the inside. Does he get it done? No, that was a risky move through there, but he's managed to hold on to it. 6 minutes 14 to go. Less than halfway. Hold on to your horses. That's 9th place. T-Joke is in 8th. He's the highest placed long wheelbase car in the entire field because he is the only long wheelbase car in the entire field. Hence why he's the top. He's in 8th position. He is fighting for his position in Championship 2, in Class 2. Lloyd is going to have to do something clever here. He leaves one car's width, but just enough to allow T-Joke to squeeze up the inside. Has he compromised his exit? T-Joke's going for it again. He's going to have to go around the inside into this turn. Does he do it? No, he doesn't. He's had to brake, apply the pressure. He's going for the old switcheroo. It's not going to work through there. Lloyd is absolutely causing a massive bottle in this corner. He's in 7th position. There is 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Basically the second half of the field. Poddy Flack in 3rd and 4th are close. T-Joke is trying to sell him a dummy as we go across this vast section. It's not going to work unless he does something. He's going to have to line him up as he comes out of the final 2 penultimate corners. Otherwise, it's just never going to work. He's going to have to think about it. That is 8th position. Neil is in 9th, and you can see Neil, who's attacking and defending from Trebek. Trebek is so close, he can actually smell what he had for dinner. Sensational stuff. Through the left-hander we go. Needs to keep it nice and tidy. Ian Deaney and Craig Deeks are fighting each other as well. So while Lloyd has basically caused a massive traffic jam, these two, Ian Deaney in 15th position and Craig Deeks, are fighting each other as well. But we leave that battle and we rejoin the Group C battle. So there is Bill Campion. He's in the 55. Behind that is Derek Neal. He's in the number 96. So that is 18th and 19th. They are fighting each other. Oh, he goes up the inside. That was very, very little bit of clumsiness there, I think, from Campion. He just needs to be a little bit more observant, but it's just the way it is sometimes. They are fighting each other at the back. Right, Trebek is on the back of Neil. Well, he would be, because Lloyd, once again, we are joining the battle for 7th, is absolutely causing so much hassle to everybody in the field. He's going to have to defend for 3 more laps. 140, yes, 3 more laps. He's going to have to defend for 3 more laps if he wants to get past, if he wants to keep that 7th position, because the problem is, the minute that door opens, the minute number 7, that 22 Vextra Seat, boom, front of your picture, opens the door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars are all just going to go streaming past him. So he's going to have to be so careful what he does. T-Joke just needs to not do anything silly, not push him off the road. Just wait for those tyre degradations. Someone has launched it off the road. Who are we missing? Aaron Markham is a little bit skinny there. Shores is on a race on his own. But this is the battle. This is the battle from 7th down to 15th. Nick Papadim is trying to attack the back of Ashbourne, but he's got Craig Deeks at the back of him. So he's there. There he is. He's the Alfa Romeo, that number 25. Does T-Joke do it? Does he finally get the job done? No. No, he doesn't. And Aaron Markham is slowly but surely going backwards as well. So Aaron Markham in that 28, he's struggling. They're all struggling. It's getting very exciting. Can T-Joke? No, he can't do it. He just hasn't got the confidence. You can see here when we ride on board is that T-Joke is much more confident, but this little Alfa Romeo that is actually a Seat Cupra just gets so much better drive off the corners. This is where T-Joke has to carry that momentum. This is where he needs to tuck it up behind Lloyd and then go for it. He'll have 2 more laps. Really, there's only 2 overtaking opportunities at this racetrack. If you let the door open, as we saw Van Skeppen do to let back Neil, it caused all sorts of problems. Has he got the run? Has he got it done? He's going to have to be confident here. He tries to sell in the dummy, he goes up the inside, gets the Turcan and rotated and stopped, but he hasn't done it. They're all blocking up. Lloyd is having to defend for his life here. 2 minutes 20, he'll have 2 laps to go. Van Skeppen is trying to attack Trebek. Trebek is trying to attack the back of Van Skeppen, and Ashbourne is trying to defend from Papadim while also attacking from Van Skeppen. There is Ashbourne. He's in the 31. Behind that, that's the 25 of Nick Papadim. They're side by side through this sector. Papadim thinking better of it there. He let the brakes off. He's like, I can't go through there. It's just not going to work. They're going to be sensible. Points equal prizes. Some of them are chasing. They're absolute. Neil's run wide. Neil ran wide coming out the corner, but has he managed to wrestle the car back? Has he managed to hold it? No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes, he has. That was such a very careful moment then from Neil. He's pushing for all he's worth. He's got ballast on board. He's trying to deliver a result here. With 1 minute 12 to go, it will be 1 more lap. Benny Norton's on prime position for his first race win in TCRSL. But look at Lloyd. He's doing all he can. T-Joke is so close. You can see as we ride on the car, he's so close. He can sniff the exhaust pipe of the car in front. He's that close. It's illegal in 7 countries, but there he is. Instead of him, that is Lloyd, and you'll see here, he'll get 1 more opportunity. He needs to hug the rear balance of that car. He needs to be right on the rear end if he wants to get an opportunity to get that race victory. Watch the timing. He will gain and gain and gain and gain and gain and gain, but the straight just isn't long enough. There is no DRS. This is touring car. They're all going to go for it. This is it. He's going to have to be so much more confident around the outside. Does he get it done? They're going to be side by side through turn 1. He needs to keep his plant firmly on the floor. Oh, there's a little bit of a muscle there. I don't think T-Joke's going to be able to hold it. No, he isn't. He goes through the right-hand side, then through the left-hand side. I think Lloyd has managed to hold on to it. But will he hold it on? He's only got half a lap to go. Can he do this? There he is. He's in the 22. He's held up the entire field. Jake Wilson is on the back of John Petrol. I am watching that board. But look at that. There is 8th, 6th, there is 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th. They're all muscling each other out. They're all fighting each other because they all want the opportunity to be at the front of the grid for race 3. That's what they're wrestling here for. That's why the positions are so important, because 1 to 8 is guaranteed reversal, but from 9, 10, 11 and 12, it's going to be who is going to be on pole position. So Ashbourne will be the last car at the moment. That's why they're all pushing for it. Oh, a little bit of a love tap there from T-Joke, but T-Joke led off the accelerator to let Lloyd pass, retake that position. Fantastic from T-Joke, but that's compromised and now it's game over unless somebody goes for a late minute dive. Up the inside is going to be positions as is. Oh, Neil's run wide. What happened to Neil? What happened to Neil? Neil's run wide. He's either run wide or he's had a DNF or a disqualification. We will find out. But he's run wide. I cannot believe it. What has happened to Neil? So Neil will get no point. That's promoted Trebek with Papadim to 12. There is Markham. Lloyd holds on to a sensational 7th. I can't see anything because they're doing donuts. Absolutely sensational. In the background, Bill Campion is fighting Kirby. So Kirby will come home. Luke will actually come home as the leader of Group C, followed by Kirby in the 33. Bill Campion, there he is in the 55. A 17th at the minute. He's going to come home in 17th, followed by 18th and Derek Neal. They're getting faster, these two. They're absolutely getting faster and faster, 149s. So they are within 10%, which is exactly what we want to see. Bill Campion's going to bring the car home in 17th position, but we're going to follow Derek Neal across the line. He has got 4 wheels on his wagon. The question is, are all 4 wheels pointing in the road? No, that car is absolutely damaged. I think he might have blown the engine up, but that car is very, very much not operational as it currently stands. So he's going to be very, very tricky. It's going to be very, very tricky in terms of what we see. In terms of the fastest lap goes to Nick Papadim. Nick Papadim will be the fastest lap. No, it isn't Benny Norton. So my board was wrong. Benny Norton's got fastest lap. Oh, yeah, 145.981. So fastest lap is Benny Norton, and race winner is Benny Norton. Second is John Petra. Wilson's third. Flack is fourth. George is fifth. Markham is sixth. But Lloyd is seventh. T-Joke is 8th. I think T-Joke will skip Lloyd in the next one. Trebek, Van Skeppen, Ashbourne, Papadim, Deeks, D&E, Dugdale, Kirby, Campion, Neil, a disqualification. Neil will have had a disqualification. Yeah, he'll have had a disqualification. That's why it's coming up as a DQ. I thought it was damage to the car, but it wasn't. It was a DQ. And the problem is, Neil is going to end up at the back of the grid for race 2 and race 3. So he's going to struggle through that whole sector. It's going to be very, very tricky. Right. Let's go across to the draw. Well, we would go across to the draw, but the wheel looks like it's having its own moment here. Isn't that nice? So there we go. We finally got it back up and running. So I've just saved these just in case everything has gone wrong. Is the camera in the right place? Yeah, roughly. So we're going to do the race 3 draw, and then obviously we'll go across to our drivers. Because there is 19 drivers in tonight, we will be doing a grid reversal for positions 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So 1 to 8 are guaranteed. And then if we get, say, position 10, from 1 to 10 will be reversed. So 10th will start first. So let's spin the wheel. It's live. We do it live on stream, as we always see. We've had a couple of these, and it's going to be position 12. So who puts that? Who's on pole? Nick Papadim, followed by Ashbourne. So it's position 12 will be the reverse winner. Right, let's go across to our drivers while I do everything else. So we're going to jump into the live stream as we always do. Let's hit the buttons. You've got to hit the right buttons as always. There we go. Can you all hear me?
I'm afraid so.
Right, I think there we go. Now we're up operation. So it is position 12. It is the first full grid reversal.
Cool. Oh, for God's sake!
That means I'm
Sorry.
I'm P2.
The series is fixed. This series is absolutely fixed. It's a disgrace. I'm going to take it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and it's just going to be disgraceful.
Well, it's going to be exciting. Right, so I'm going to go across to you first, Benny. I've put that in the chat for everybody so they can all see it. So, and everyone who's watching on stream, as I said, we do this live. Right, Benny, across to yourself first. First of all, qualifying, that looked intense. You, Jake, Jean Petra, Papadim were just trading sector times. And you kept going faster and faster and faster. Is that purely just because you got used to the track, or is it because the tyres got to an optimal temperature, or it was none of that and it was just luck?
Well, I knew I could go faster, and I was just like, I can't be beaten by a Peugeot.
Peugeot's the best car on the grid. It won here in real life. Like, it's the only... Actually, no, it won twice in real life. And this was the only circuit I could do it on.
I wasn't being beaten in qualifying
by a Peugeot. But to be fair, it looked absolutely... Again, if you join us after the 3 races, again, the qualifying session looked very much... it was very, very much a case of you had to make sure you got a good qualifying to begin with, because everyone was just going faster and faster and faster, and the sector times as well. You had to, again, hook up all three.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, because if you mess up one corner on here, you ruin the whole sector. It's really hard to make the time back up.
Which again, because Papa Dim's strongest sector was sector 2. He was mighty in that sector, but sector 3 he struggled. But yeah, we'll go through that after the race, because obviously I've only got 4 minutes, so I won't probably get to you all. But obviously next race I will. Again, Benny, first race in TCRSL, missed out a couple of times. Obviously capitalised on Jake as well, and then Papa Dim's accident. Well, he didn't have an accident. He had a trip to the barrier all by himself, and then ended up at 25th, I think. Oh, sorry, no, ended up right at the back.
I did wonder what happened to him.
So, are you looking again for the same sort of style for race 2? Just get away from the front and just get going.
Hopefully I can do it again. Get a second win, and then race 3 we'll just see what happens, because it's a really hard track to pass at. Well,
hopefully it all comes good for you, to be honest.
Well, I hope so.
We will see. Right, I'm going to quickly go across to Simon, and then I'll probably try and catch up with you, Aaron, and Jake after race 2.
No problem.
Simon, obviously, you're in second position now for race 3. Because obviously Papa Dim is now going to be on pole. How did you find that race? Because it looked like Lloyd, obviously he was in 7th, 80 kilos on board, was a huge blocker in the whole of that race.
It was the fastest traffic jam I've ever been in my life. It was. There was just nowhere. There was not enough pace in any car to pass the car in front. It was just nose to tail the whole race. So it was just about who made a mistake and who didn't. But unfortunately, just for a change, I actually finished the race.
But it must. I mean, it's a different type of driving from obviously we've seen in other races as well, because you can't afford to make a mistake, because you got held up, and then I saw Deeks and Papa Dim came and joined the party then.
Yeah. There was someone hanging around with an Alpha behind me who was all over me, but he only had one or two chances, I think, to get past me, and I managed to hold him off. The rest of the time, even the Alpha, you know how quick that is on the straight, he didn't have enough to get by. So it is a tough track to pass on.
But I suppose
so it's just about minimising the errors.
But I suppose that's what makes it a completely different challenge from the bigger tracks, because it's so narrow. Which race 3 is going to be quite tough, I think, because I think Lloyd is going to block the field again.
Well, I'm going to block the field. Why Lloyd? I'm on P2, I think.
Yes, you are. You're P2. So I actually saved it. So you're, so you've got Papa Dim, Ashbourne, that's you, Van Skeppen, and then Trebek. And then you've got T-Joke in 8th, who is obviously going to be, he's in the Lincoln Co. And that's a mighty starting car. It's one of the best starting cars on the grid. And if he times that, he can probably get up, I think, to behind you.
If I can stay in the draft behind Papa Dim, I've got a chance of a podium. But if I lose that draft, I'm a sitting duck. The Audi is not great in a straight line.
It's going to be.
But I was literally in the slipstream the whole race, so I was okay.
It's going to be very, very exciting. I think it's going to be a different challenge. And
it's
like
more
you
of
said,
a chess match than out battle. This one.
Yeah. Right. I'm going to let you go. Sorry if I didn't answer the question. I'm going to let you go because we've got 51 seconds remaining. So yeah. Right. No doubt I will probably talk to you after race 3 if I don't get a chance after race 2. Because I want to talk to Jake and Aaron if they jump in. So I will see him soon. Right, we are going to go back to the live stream. We're going to have to turn everything back on because I turned the race feed off. We are back live again. So, yeah, it's super exciting. It'd be super interesting, actually, to get Lloyd on to see how he's doing. But as it stands, it's going to be very, 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 very tough. Ibis Racer, who is what's it? He is Lloyd. So we've got a couple of updates on here because we can see them on the board. He's carrying 80 kilograms on board, and he was basically saying that he was holding everybody up. Is not what you want here. So he was crying and laughing in the same respect. But T-Joke, he's in the Lincoln Co. coming in just saying nice train because there was nothing untoward with it. It was very, very good, hard, fair racing. And that's what we want. We've got to the bottom of Stu Neal's issue. He knackered his suspension on lap 1 and couldn't stop it right at the end. So that's why he ended up with all those points, unfortunately, because his suspension was knackered. It's compromised him. It's really hampered him in the race because he wouldn't be able to go round. But he kept exceptional pace with broken suspension. So that was very tough. So he's at the back of the grid now. He's in 12th. He's now going to have to be on a recovery drive. So here we are, race 2. I'm your commentator, Andy Pawley. We're at the city of Zandvoort. We're in the city of Zandvoort, in the Netherlands. Man on the front is Benny Norton by Jean Petra. Watch the lights. When they go green, it's go, go, go. It's lights out. And who gets a good start? There's the 55 Bill Campion. Has had a fantastic start in the background, but he's going to have to try and squeeze in. And he's got the job done as they all pile into that first corner. Do they get themselves done? Poddy's filed himself in. There is Lloyd and Aaron. Lloyd in the 22 behind. That is Trebek and Van Skeppen are side by side. They're all trying to find their way into that first corner, muscle their way through. Does Lloyd get it done? Yes, he does. He holds on to 6th position. He's up 1. He's managed to mug T-Joke off the line. No, he hasn't. He's managed to mug Markham off the line. Now he's got to get on the move, get after Shaw's. There is Shaw's in the 53. That is the old car of our old favourite. I've forgotten the guy's name. Sober Stig drove the 53. He was the rear gunner to Sober Stig last season. There he is in the 53. Riding on board now with Shaw's. He's in 5th. It's gone wide. Lloyd's going to go side by side into this turn. Does he get it done? Oh, there's contact. There's contact between the two drivers. They're all going to squabble now as they hold themselves up. Does he get the job done? Do they hold themselves up? They're going to be 3 wide into the background. They're going to have to file into line. Do they get it done? No, they don't. Yes, they do. That was very, very audacious there from Lloyd, and contact was made with the rear of the car, but positions are neutralised because Lloyd, depending on the way the incident was looked at, would be the result. But Lloyd is now down in 9th position. He just needs to do. You can see Papa Dim has gone up the inside. Oh, there's contact. Papa Dim's going to have to hold on to the outside. Does he get it done? Where is Deeks? Deeks has made progress. Right at the front, Pascal is right on this John Petra. He's in 2nd position. There's Benny Norton. He's in 1st. He is right at the back. Luke and Ian Deaney and Stu Neal. So up goes Ian Deaney. He is side by side with Craig Deeks as they come down the main shore. This is super dangerous. There's Luke in the background in the 17. Yellow Audi. Ian Deaney's on your left side in the 25. He's side by side by Neil. They're going to have to give each other room here through this turn. It's going to be very, very pushy, widey. They're going to be so careful. It's 3 wide through this sector. Neil's just thinking about his championship there. He tabs the brake a little bit, and he's going to get held up here, I think. He's got to make progress fast if he wants to get through. Martin Kirby is retired at the moment. There's Ian Deaney. He's in the 25. He is right behind. He's got Deeks behind him. There's Stu Neal in the 99. Track damage on the opening lap, and then he struggled on, and he nearly made it. Then he got a DQ, and he didn't. Papa Dim is on the back of Luke. Luke's in the bright yellow 17 Audi. Look at Neil springing the neck of that car. I am watching the battle for 1st and 2nd, but this is the battle of the rear of the field. This is 12th, 13th, 4th, 12th to 18th. There is Neil in the 99. He's surely going to go up the side of Craig Deeks. They give each other room. Deeks thinking better of it, but Deeks is going for the old switcheroo. No, he's just let him gone. Deeks has let him gone. There's Papa Dim in the 25. They're all trying to get past Luke in that middle sector. Bidoff and Trebek are fighting each other. So this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd. I am watching the battle in the background, but it's all kind of settled itself down. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. No, it hasn't. Luke in the 17. He is going to have Papa Dim all over him. Papa Dim's in that 25. Alfa Romeo. And then he's got the 17. That is the bright yellow car. And there is Bill Campion and Derek Neal. They are crucial for their championship in Group C. There is Derek Neal, father to Stu Neal. These two, surprised they're not being teammates, but there we are sometimes. 2 seconds off in terms of comparative time. Right. There is George. George is currently also known as Shaw's. He's in 6th position. There is T-Joke. These two used to be teammates. They're not teammates for the last 2 seasons. Shaw's always drives the Seat Cupra. There is the bright blue cyan Lincoln Co. And you can see riding on board now with T-Joke. He is absolutely extracting the maximum out of these 4 wheels as you go through the left-hander. 10 minutes, 52 seconds remaining of race 2. Don't forget, 7th position. We're riding on board now with Simon Trebek. He's in 8th position. I am watching the battle for 2nd and 3rd. They are nearest enough, makes no difference. 0.2 of a second. But this is where we're watching right now. This is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Trebek's in 8th in the 25. He's carrying no ballast on board that car. And then you've got the bright blue cyan, number 3 Lincoln Co. 12. Boom. 1, 2 second car in your picture. There he is. He's doing all he can. 3 different nationalities, 3 different drivers, all driving on the same piece of tarmac, and Lloyd is now joining the party. So there's Lloyd in the 22. He's struggling. He's even said it in chat. So he's just going to be happy to get rid of the ballast because Jean Petra, who is currently 4/10 of a second off Benny Norton. Benny Norton is going for the double. Another new race winner to this season. Through the left-hander we go. Can he keep it nice and tidy? Can he deliver anything? There is Poddy in the 84. He's just kind of racing on his own. Right, Trebek. Back to Trebek. This is the battle for 8th. You can see here, he gains and gains and gains. But as we ride down to the front camera of Trebek, there is the Lincoln Co. And then watch this car. It will engage overdrive as we get to the 2nd phase. And look at it. It just goes, see ya, I'm off to get a McFlurry. And off he goes. Checks himself out. Hands his room key in. Into the hairpin we go. Down the gearbox. 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Oh, is that Ashbourne? Ashbourne's outbraked himself. He's gone for the late lunge. Manages to just hold on to it, and he's compromised his exit. Shaw's is side by side by T-Joke. Shaw's is not letting him go because Shaw's is racing for position here. Shaw's, there he is. He's the 53. He is that car on the left and the front of your picture now. He is 3-time champion. He's race winner last time out. He's got ballast on board this week, and he's really 2nd in the championship. 70 kilograms on board that little Seat Cupra. He's really going to struggle. He's really going to have to think about how he gets past the car in front. We're riding on board now. There is T-Joke, followed by Trebek, followed by Lloyd. These 3, a little bit of a nudge there between the 3. No love lost. Can he do anything here? Can Lloyd go round the outside? And look who is lurking in the background of Lloyd. Riding on board now. This is Lloyd. There is Van Skeppen. He is going to be on pole for race 3. Ashbourne will be on 2nd. These 3 are absolutely locked in battle for the right to remain championship overall winner. But I think Lloyd might lose it this time out. That 80 kilograms on board is so tough. It requires a different type of driving style. Stu Neal is up into 13th. He's now on the back of Ian Deaney. He needs to make progress. There he is. You can see him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the queue. Bill Campion and Derek Neal are fighting each other in the background, but Luke Dugdale is now nearest us, makes no difference in that position. Trebek is on it. He's launched his attack, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything riding from the rear view camera of T-Joke. He's in 7th position, don't forget. That is 8th position, Trebek. Unless Trebek goes for a late lunge in the corner, it's just not going to work. But these two squabbling has allowed 6th place man, Van Skeppen, to release and go for the victory. But as we see here, riding on board here with Ashbourne, he's in 11th position. There is 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, and 6th. They are all separated by less than 1.5 seconds. That's how close the field is in this midsection. It's all to battle for. It's all to play for. They're all going to be absolutely turning the wick up. What can Van Skeppen do? He's in 10th position. Boom, there he is. He is that yellow and blue car. Oh, T-Joke's made a little bit of a mistake there. That's why we saw the smoke. He's in the 88. Is that blue and yellow car. He will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th car in that queue. There he is, the 88, yellow with the blue on the car. Seat Cupra versus Audi, that bright yellow number 31. Tom Coronel Audi, absolutely great looking car. There's Stu Neal in the background. He is right on the back of Ian Dearney. These two have raced in other leagues together, so they are no strangers to each other's driving. So they're going to have to extract the maximum from that car. But Neal taking, well, he was absolutely on pace considering he only had 3 wheels on the wagon. Sensational. There is Craig Deeks. He's down in 15th position at the moment. But Trebek he's going to have to do something sensational here. 6 minutes 14 remaining of this 15-minute race, and it's all to play for. This is where tyre degradation will now come into play. Who has managed their tyres? Who has managed to hold on to the race? There is Benny Norton. He is at the front of that queue. He's in the 29. Van Scheppen's gone for the dive on Lloyd. Has he managed to do it? Trebek's trying to sell a dummy. They're all trying to sell a dummy into that corner. Does he go around the outside? There's the 31. That is the Audi of Simon Trebek, which is actually called Simon Ashbourne. 2 Simons, 2 different surnames. They're actually 2 different people. 5 minutes 39 remaining. Who is going to be victorious? Through the left-hander we go. It will be interesting to see who gets fastest lap. That will be Benny Norton, I think. He will do the double. 2 victories and 2 positions. The question is, will he take a third? Will he do a solo mistake? I don't think he will. It's going to be very, very tricky, especially at this track. It's going to be about maximising those points in race 3. But we have got at least 10 minutes left till we get there. Right, rejoining the battle for 7th and 8th. They're all kind of fighting together at the moment. It's kind of holding stations. It'll all be about that tyre management. That's what they're looking for. There is Trebek. There is Lloyd. A slow down penalty. Look, it's finally kicked itself in. Wow, Lloyd's kicked up a little bit of a mistake there. Has that allowed Van Scheppen to get through? Is that mistake going to cost Van Scheppen? Or is it going to cost Lloyd? Lloyd will have the inside. He's the 22 versus the 88. The 88 will be on the outside, crucially into this turn. This could be it. Lloyd could be about to lose a position. The ballast is going to play. Simon in the 31 Audi needs to follow through the next driver. Does he close the door? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. Oh, he's run himself wide. He's really struggling there. They need to stop squabbling with each other and get on with the job at hand. Simon needs to follow Van Scheppen through. That's what he needs to do. Lloyd's tyres are gone. They're suffering. He's shot now. 80 kilograms on board that car. Those that have managed to save their tyres, those that have managed to hold on to this, they will be the ones who will be victorious. There is Van Scheppen. He's got the run. He needs to make a choice. He's not going to go around that way. That's not going to happen. It's all going to be about, can he get the car? He's hit the brakes. They will be. He's going to have to hang this properly out to dry. He's going to have to keep his nose right in. Lloyd gives him a little bit of a tap saying, I'm there. Keeps the car just enough on the same place. Through the right side. Van Scheppen hasn't let up yet. He's still going for it. Van Scheppen's in the 88. Whoa, tap between the 2 drivers. Has he got that job done? Oh, that'll be a very interesting one to see. Let's hit the cool button and see if that's what we get on camera. Right, Benny Norton now has Jean Petra and Wilson, but Van Scheppen has now passed Lloyd, but Lloyd has got Ashbourne right ahead of him. There is Ashbourne in the 31, but Lloyd won't give that up. Lloyd is going for 10th position. He'll be happy to get rid of the ballast. Look, Lloyd hasn't given it up. Lloyd has said, if you're going to do that, I'll do it as well. Right, Jean Petra is right on the back of Benny Norton. This is the battle for the lead. I am watching the battle for 7th and the rest of the battles. We're currently on the lead battle. This is Benny Norton. He's leading. He won race 1, don't forget. First time out at Tcsrl, and he is going to potentially take race 2. It is 2 laps to go. Not including this one. So it's 2.5 laps to go. Can he do anything? No, it is. No, it's 2 laps to go, including this one. It's 1:40. That would make it 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So he's got to hold on. Right, T-Joke is now on the back of, still on the back of Trebek. There, where is Neil? Neil's got himself up to 13th. He's got himself into the points finishing positions, which is crucial for his championship hopes. But he'll be super happy to get rid of the ballast, especially when we go to Red Bull Ring. That's going to be key. Look, there is Benny Norton. Trebek is now right on the back of T-Joke. Can he do anything from here? Can he deliver anything? Ashbourne is also going around the outside of Lloyd. Can he do anything? No, he won't. Can Ashbourne get the job done? Ashbourne should get the car stopped and rotated. Into the inside he goes. Lloyd is having to be really careful there. They're side by side, little bit of a rub of the paint. They're at the back. Wheel needs to be crucially not do anything silly, and Lloyd's going to lose another position. He's going to try and hang it out as much as possible, but he just lets it go. So he's cost him as near as it makes no difference. He's back down in 11th position. He's going to be super happy probably to lose all of that ballast. Right, there's Ian Dearney in the 25. Behind that is another 25. That is Papadim. Doesn't matter, they're both Alfa Romeos, both equal machinery. So be it. They're absolutely extracting the maximum through the right-hander. Can they deliver anything through here? Ian Dearney's in the lead. Behind that, riding from the rear camera, that's Lloyd Bidler. Lead with that is Ian Dearney. We're on board with Ian Dearney. Behind that is Papadim. This is 12th, 13th place. There is Papadim. He's going to be on pole position for race 2. No, he's not. He's going to be in 3rd, probably. I don't know. Let's have a look. No, he's not. He's going to be nowhere near that. So just ignore me. But there we go. No, not. He's going to be on pole. Papadim is going to be on pole for race 3. So that's going to be crucial for him. We've just got to follow him through. What can he do here? There is Ian Dearney. There is Papadim riding on board now with Papadim. They'll get one more bite of the cherry, and that will be it. Race 2 will be over. Down the gearbox they go. They need to keep it nice and tidy. Their overtaking opportunities here are limited, but the track action has been absolutely fierce because one mistake, one poor finish, and they've gone backwards. Lloyd is going backwards and backwards and backwards. 80 kilograms on board. The tyres have been a killer here, and that's the key. That's what makes TCRSL such a tricky league, because you can't just win on outright pace. You have to be able to manage a number of factors. Close overtaking, tyre wear degradation. So he's all the way back down in 12th. He's going to lose another position. I think he's purely just going for race-saving pace here. Can he hold on to this? There's Papadim. Papadim is the second Alfa Romeo in the picture. Lloyd should have the inside. Does Ian Dearney hold it? Just enough. But Lloyd shuts that door solidly shut. Says, you're not coming through. Lloyd just needs to hold on. Right. Poddy Flack is right on the back of Wilson. These two have been locked together for the entire race. This is the battle for 3rd and 4th. They're keeping each other nice and busy through this sector. The question is, can they do anything? I don't think they can. Ashbourne's also on the back of Van Skeppen. This is 10th and 9th. 9th is Van Skeppen. He's in the 99, riding from the rear camera now of Van Skeppen. The Alfa Romeo DHL, which is actually an Audi, is Ashbourne. He's in 10th position. He's absolutely turning it up to 11 there. Sensational stuff. He's not going to get around there. He's going to have to try and either force the issue. Has he forced it? Has he not? No, he hasn't. In the background, what has he managed to do there? Has he managed to put anything else? Let's see how we go. Let's see how he does. He's going to be game over. Neil is trying to do all he can. The field is just stuck together. Ashbourne's not going to go around the outside there. Lloyd is trying to defend for every single bit of track he can hold on to. He's just going backwards. But again, it's 80 kilograms on board. Tyre degradation, tyre management is key here. This is what Soberstig and Shaw's are so good at. They always manage their tyres. Now, I don't know if he's run with ballast before at this type of level. He's run at 80 kilograms last week out, actually. So he's really had to put the paceners on here. There's Luke. He's going to bring the car home in 16th position, which is good for his Group C championship, because he needs to chase down Kane Alexander, because he's not racing tonight. So Kane is going to lose a whole host of points to the drivers at the back. Derek Neal will bring the car home in 17th, and there's Bill Campion, 25th. Commentated on Bill for such a long time in terms of when we used to do another league. So he will slowly progress, but it's all about practice. And he will slowly and surely start to get quicker and quicker, and he's now even 9%, so he's getting faster and faster. So he will bring the car home in 18th position. But what a solid result for him. Absolutely sensational result there for the driver. What's he managed to do? And he's held on to it. Fantastic. So Benny Norton does the double. Benny Norton is first, followed by Benny Norton fastest lap. Jean Petra, Wilson, Flack, Markham, George, Tijo, Trebek, Van Skeppen, Ashbourne, Lloyd. I think Lloyd is on recovery mode at the moment. Dearney, Papadim, Neil. Don't forget Neil had broken suspension, but he was still rapid when he had it. Deeks, Dugdale, Derek Neal, Campion, and Kirby was a DNF, which I suspect was damage to the car. So it's all the way from 1st to 19th. But the championship is going to be absolutely blown wide open. All the championships are going to be absolutely blown wide open. Predominantly because there are now the Drivers' Total Championship, and there's 3 different championships. Absolutely sensational stuff there. And as we expected from race 2, it was always going to be super exciting. And what did it do? It delivered. Absolutely sensational stuff. But it's a completely different type of driving that the drivers have to do here. It's not about, you have to manage your tyres, and one mistake, like when we were talking to Simon, and you're losing 3 or 4 places. You're in a big car battle here. So it's a different type of skill, which is why we're seeing, if you can get a good position to start with, you can get away from them. So it's going to be super exciting, I think, for race 3. Is it going to be a bit elbows out? 100% guaranteed, because it always is. That's race 3. No matter what you say, it's elbows out. But there we go. Right, we're going to go across to the drivers. We didn't get a chance to talk to Jake, so we're going to talk to Benny first, and then we'll talk to Jake, and then we will go from there. Benny, can you hear me?
I can indeed.
Fantastic. You've done the double. Actually, you've done the quadruple. You've done 2 fastest laps and 2 race victories.
Yes, it's been a good night considering I hate the track.
Take us. Were you managing the tyres at any point? Because it looked like you got away in that early phase, that first 5 minutes, and then Jean Petre slowly started to catch you in the second phase, and then in the final phase, you seem to then get that gap again.
Yeah, I ruined my tyres in the first race, so I thought I'd try and hold on to them a bit longer, and then I also tried to back him up into Poddy to try and get him a bit another place, but it just wasn't happening. So in the end, I just I gave up and I just went for it again.
I mean, sorry,
I wanted another first. I was like, I can't risk losing it.
It must have been exciting as well because obviously you've come so close to a victory in Tcsrl, and then you've taken 2 in one night. But again, it's that tyre management as well. Are you finding, like we said before, that's the deciding factor, I think. I mean, that's what Shaw's and Sober Stig, obviously doesn't race with us anymore, was so good at last season. That management of the tyres.
If you can pull out a little gap at the start, manage it through the middle half of the race, and then at the end you've got more tyres than the guy behind you, you're pretty safe.
It's sensational. But well done. I'm going to go across to Jake because I didn't get a chance to talk to Jake after race 1. So Jake, because we've got a bit of time. Obviously, you're on pole position for quite a long time in terms of provisional pole position. Had you practiced the track, or was it just a case of, because I think you said you didn't like this track?
I know I didn't like the track, but I genuinely don't know where that lap came from. I sat in the pits for 8 minutes thinking, oh, please, nobody beat this, because I don't think I'm going to do it again.
But it just seemed to be that middle sector, and that seems to be where you've got, at the moment, you seem to have that advantage, that you seem to be able to hook up the middle sector really well, obviously when you're not in a group of cars.
I have genuinely no idea, to be honest with you. It's probably, it's purely because of weight. I've got no words, actually. I don't know.
You're absolutely...
the place I feel like the car's best is actually the last 5 minutes of the race, unless I break the suspension.
Did you do that in race 1? No.
Race 2.
Race 2. Oh, you broke it in race 2?
I was right on the back of it.
Do you know what? You're the second...
My body was all over me.
You're the second person to have broken suspension, because Neil broke suspension in race 1 on lap 1.
Oh, God.
So then he struggled, and I'm amazed he even kept it on the road as far as he did, to be perfectly honest. But
with that type of damage, you quickly figure out, actually, this is how I could drive the car. It takes a while to figure out, but then it just becomes you just driving the car normally, to be honest with you.
So, hopes for race 3 then? What are you looking for race 3?
Where am I starting? 9th, 10th. Yeah, 10th, because I finished 3rd. So I'm hoping the first 9 crash out, and I just have a nice, easy run. That's what I want, but it won't happen.
No. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a very elbows out opening lap, as everyone sorts themselves out into a position. And then I think the key here is it's all going to be about that turn 1, 2, 3, and 4, that whole complex. Because people are running side by side through that whole section.
That doesn't surprise me. Like we're gonna just see trains and trains and trains of cars. Like we got Bidolph, who's got like 450,000 cars behind him.
Yeah, he's. I really wanted to actually talk to him, but I don't know if he'll actually come on stream because I'm really interested to know because he's quick and I'm not sure if he's ever. This is the first time I've seen him with ballast, and then obviously start to go back, which we've seen from Shaw's previously in other seasons. So. I don't know. It is what it is, I think. It'd be really interesting to talk to him. But, right, I'll talk to you after, Jake. I just want to quickly talk to Aaron, because I didn't get a chance, and then I'll talk to you all. Please all come back after the final race, and then I'll talk to you all, and as we always do. Aaron, it is Aaron, isn't it? I have not just made that up. No, it is. Aaron, yourself, obviously, you're in this middle pack again, battling out in that middle pack. How are you finding it in terms of, again, tyre wear is the big one, I think, so tyre wear. And, it's, as Simon alluded to, same as Jake as well, is that you make one mistake and you're out. You're back of the field and it's hard then to move forward.
Yeah. I suppose if the mid-pack is the top 5, I'll take that, like. Yeah, I mean, P5, P6, the first race, I defended from Bidolph because I knew he was going to try and mount an attack on User, my teammate. So I just kind of parked the bus a little bit, let George build a gap, and he pulled away nicely. And then after that, I opened up the gap as well to Lloyd. And it was a good job I did because I made a little mistake and he came back at me, but it was all good. And then in the second race, I got lucky really because I think Lloyd tried to have a go on Straws and it didn't quite work, and I managed to punch right through. And I think if the race kept going, myself and Poddy would have maybe had the run on Jake and could have been challenging for a podium. But yeah, as the other guys have alluded to, the front left's really tricky to manage. In fact, it's impossible to manage. And if you make a mistake, because of the train of cars and how close everything is at Zandvoort, you just get passed by everyone. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen in race 3.
But again, I suppose that's what makes it super exciting. We were talking briefly after the first race, and obviously I want to talk about more of that following the race. It's, again, of the 3 races we've had so far, this is another dynamic. It's a completely... You can't make... I mean, like, you could make mistakes at they're slightly wider, and you could get away with it. But here, because it's so narrow... You can't make a mistake. And I get the feeling, obviously I'll quickly with 30 seconds to go, this is what the final at Brands is going to be like. It's all going to be about teammates and margins.
Yep, 1000%. I think this is almost a trial for Brands. So yeah, totally agree. Right, I will disappear,
right.
Andy.
Good luck.
I will
Good luck.
Talk to you after the end.
Talk to you after. So, yeah, that's it. We're going to go back to the live feed because we are going to go racing for the final time this evening. Am I expecting this to be a little bit of an argy-bargy? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. It's going to be very, very truthy. Oh, no! Van Skeppen has just had a dreaded server crash. He's had the He's had the replay cache crash. Oh no! Oh no! Hopefully he can get in. Otherwise, Simon Ashbourne is going to be on pole position. I'm shaking the camera. I cannot believe it. Van Skeppen is not going to be on pole, I don't think. Is he in the lobby? My neighbours are like, what is he talking about? No, he's in. I think Van Skeppen is in. We're going to find out when we hit the garage. We are looking for that yellow and blue Seat Cupra. Yes, he's in. He's right at the back. Ooh, that was close. Last minute dramatics. You couldn't make this up if you tried. Right, we are going to go across. We're already in it. So we're in race 3. This is it. I am your commentator. That's not what you want. There he is, Andrew Pawley, and it's the final race of the season. It will be positions 1 to 12 have been reversed. So it is a full grid reversal. There is only 30 incident points, which makes it very, very tricky. Van Skeppen is in. He's in 3rd. So watch it for the final race of the evening. What does T-Joke do? He's in 4th position. If he can get a good launch with that car, he could take another victory. And it's go, go, go. It's lights out. And away we go. Who has had the perfect start? Who has had a good drive going into turn 1? Has T-Joke done it? No, he hasn't. He's got Lloyd side by side as they all go into turn 1. There's going to be a little bit of argy-bargy as they all squabble themselves into position. Have they all managed to get through? Have they all managed to hold on to themselves? Yes, they have. Sensational stuff there from all the drivers. They're all being really careful through this opening sector. Jean Petre, he's in the 44, he's on the right side. There's the 29, that's Benny Norton. Don't forget, he's down in 12th position because he started at the pole. Nick Papadimos had the perfect start at the front, but Jean Petre is going to challenge the Peugeot, that number 7 308 Peugeot of the guy I've forgotten, which is Jake Wilson. He's going to be on the back of Shaw's, so Shaw's needs to he's sliding through there. That's not going to help him. He's going to have to really think about this through that sector. There he is in 10th position. Wilson's going to go and go up the inside. He is quicker than Shaw's, but Shaw's tends to start to turn the wick up in the second half of the race, so watch out for him. Bill Campion has got passed by Stu Neal. He's in the 99, but look at that gaggle of cars in the middle. There is the 29, that's Benny Norton. He's got Craig Deeks right behind him, riding on board now from the rear camera of John Petra. He's in 11th. There's Benny Norton. There's Craig Deeks. T-Joke is side by side with Bidoff. Has he done it? Yes, he has. Does the other guy, Markham, snip up the inside? No, he doesn't. He's had to back out of that. It was a little bit of a roughy. So he's backed out. So now that number 12 of T-Joke should just turn the wick up. But look at the background. There is John Petra. He's stuck behind the 308, that little Peugeot. And he's stuck behind Shaw's, who is stuck behind Podiflack. We're riding on board now with Podiflack. He's in 8th. There is Shaw's. There's the 53. Poddy's gone to the right because he knows there's not going to be a defensive. Has Shaw's managed to creep the car back in? Just enough. Holds it. Breaks the car down the gearbox. He goes. Does he get the job done? No, he doesn't. Shaw's holds onto that position just enough. But at the front, Markham is attacking the back of Lloyd. Lloyd's in 6th position. He's in the 22. Boom, there he is. He's attacking T-Joke in the 12, who's attacking Trebek, who's in 4th. There is 2nd, 3rd. Sorry, that's 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th, all nose to tail. Absolutely glued together. There's Trebek. He's so much faster than Van Skeppen. He's so much faster than Van Skeppen. So that's the problem. Van Skeppen at the moment is the absolute cork, which is not that driver. He is the cork in this huge bottle of cars. He's in 3rd. There is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And they're all going to be absolutely trying to do everything. He just doesn't have the confidence in the brakes of that car, but he is carrying ballast on board. Do not forget that. Ladies, gentlemen, and people who do not identify as any gender, they are absolutely doing all they can, and I say they and he because that's how they identify themselves. So that's the way it is, and that's the way we go racing today. Sensational stuff. Into these right-left complex, there we go, and as we ride from the camera of T-Joke, he goes to the right, he goes to the left, he's attacking these two cars ahead, but he's also defending from Lloyd behind, but Lloyd has just got 80 kilograms on board. It's all going to be about tyre management through this sector, and as we ride on board now with Jake Wilson, he's right on the rear end of Shaw's. This is 10th position. There is 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd. They're all nose to tail, separated by less than 4 seconds. And at the back, Luke Dugdale is getting passed by Neil. But he says he's going to get passed by Neil. He's going to attempt to go for it. There is Bill Campion. There is Derek Neal and Martin Kirby. Both of those two drivers are trying to give and deliver something here. They are teammates. Oh, he's gone wide. That was very audacious through that sector. They are teammates and they're all trying different moves. He's let the driver pass through, I think. Yeah, he has. Very, very good racing from the guys at the back of the grid. He made a dive, made a mistake, and Kirby let him back through. Sensational racing there from 37. I think that was always worth a mention. Right, back to the front drivers, back towards the front of the field. I say the front drivers are at the front. This is 3rd, there is 4th, there is 5th, and you can see here riding on board with Podiflack, he's in 8th position. He's attacking 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd. Anyone from 11th to 4th could get 3rd because of the way the field is. There is Ashbourne in 2nd. Whoa, a little bit of a wobble there from the car. Another little bit of a wobble there from Lloyd. Lloyd has lost a position. A very, very touchy thing. Does he get it done? I think Markham's letting him back through. Yeah, Markham's letting him back through. So Markham has let the 22 back through, I believe, but because he's done that, he's now compromised himself to Podiflack. Podiflack is just being extra careful in terms of his driving, and there it is. Jean Petre has gone up the side of Benny Norton, but Benny Norton will hang it round the outside because he can. And their two are absolutely locked. They're starting to make moves now. It's all going to be about tyre degradation. It's all going to be about holding on to that. All going to be about who has got those tyres left at the end of the race. But Luke Dugdale has had I think he's had a DNF disqualification, or his computer has gone south for the winter. But Poddy Flack is now attacking the back of Lloyd. He's side by side into turn 1. He's going to have to hang this round the outside. He's going to have to be later on the brakes. No, he's not. He's going for the old switcheroo. He's going to drive it up the inside. He's just trying to stay out of trouble there. He's done absolutely everything he needs to do. He's got his old sparring partner right behind him as we ride on board. This is Shaw's, currently second in the championship. His nearest rival is 2 cars ahead, but crucially, he gained places in race 1 and race 2. So it's going to be top change at the top, I think. Jean Petra is going to struggle, who is all the way down in 11th position. Great race 1, great race 2 as they go over the crest of the hill. They need to be absolutely confident no one loses control of the car or stoves it into the side here. Jake Wilson is starting to go back now. I think the tyres are really starting to hamper him in that Peugeot, and you can see here riding from the rear camera of Jake Wilson, he's in 10th. There is 11th and 12th. That was position 1 and position 2 of races 1 and 2, finishing positions no less. Benny finished race 1 and 2 in first, so he's done the double, but he's just stuck here behind this tray of cars. Van Skeppen, there he is just the cork in the bottle of champagne, and if it pops, he goes one way, and that's south. There is no other way he's going to go. Trebek is trying all he can here in the background. They're all squabbling and a little bit of a touchy-touchy from everybody because Van Skeppen is the cork, but Van Skeppen is basically allowing Ashbourne to drive away for the line with 8 minutes remaining. That's what's going to be key here. Papadim has checked himself out. He's 3.3 seconds in the lead. He's going to wanting to do all he can. Trebek, he's going to have to do something. We're riding on board now with Trebek, riding from the rear camera here of Van Skeppen. There is Trebek. He's going to go to the right, but he just won't have the drive into this first corner. And you'll see as we go through this, down to the front camera of Trebek. He's so close that he can almost read and smell the paint on the car in front. If he goes too far, he'll be as high as a kite through the right-hander. 7 minutes 26. Whoa, a little bit of a run wide there from the car behind. Pascal and Benny Norton are fighting, and they're all now just stuck. They are all now stuck behind Van Skeppen, and that's the problem. He's in the 88. He is this cork in the bottle, and unless they manage to clear him, or he makes a mistake, or someone does something absolutely disgusting and punts him off the road, they're not going to get past him. And we do not condone the punting off the road. That is an instant ban offence, which is why they're not going to do it. So it's going to be very, very tricky from this position. And you can see here, if we look at Craig Deeks, he's joined the back of the party. Ian Deeney is at the back of the party. And there is Stu Neal in the 99. And you can see here, riding on board, there is this train of cars from 15th to 3rd, nose to tail, all stuck behind Van Skeppen. But Van Skeppen has got Trebek side by side. Trebek is going to go for it. He's going to have to go defensive. He's going to have to do something, because if he leaves the door open, they're all going to go through. T-Joke is going to go around the outside. T-Joke is hanging out around the outside. Will he keep his foot planted? He will. Sensational stuff, but he's going to be on the outside into the turn, into this penultimate 2 sets of corners. Oh, he nearly got it done. He nearly got the job done. T-Joke, he is the number 12, 3rd car in your picture. That's Cyan, that purple-blue car. Absolutely sensational. There is 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. 6 minutes to go. Who is going to be the last of this? Estimated lap time is 3.3 in terms of the final laps remaining. Oh, Benny Norton's going to go up the inside. Sorry, that's Poddy Flack. Has he managed to do it? I don't know, because the system's crashed. We'll go old school with it. We'll try and hold on. There we go. We've managed to sort it back out. Oh, Poddy's going to go up the inside. Needs to be nice and careful. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between the 2 cars. Who's been the big loser there? Who is the massive loser out of all that? T-Joke. T-Joke has had a retirement. What happened there? I did manage to pull up a little bit of that. We will see post-race if I manage to collect it. But that's freed up Poddy Flack into 5th. He's going to absolutely look at him now. He's been released. because that Lloyd was another cork in that bottle, that's completely released the cars ahead. And now Lloyd is going to have Shaw's and Markham's close on his hand. He's really struggling with that degradation. He's really struggling. And you can see once again, there is Shaw's. He's in 7th. T-Joke, don't forget, is currently classed as a did not finish. We don't know what happened. And as always, there is always multiple views and multiple replays at the end of the race. They should submit it if they want it looked at. That is the rule. They had 4 minutes 43 remaining. It's all to play for. I think Papadim and Ashbourne and Van Skeppen now are basically checked out. Trebek is trying to do all he can. Shaw's is in the middle of this train. Shaw's in the 53, is second in the championship, don't forget. And because he's second in the championship, he's going to want to do all he can from that position. He's going to want to deliver as much as he can. He's absolutely turning up the wick here. 80 kilograms versus 70 kilograms. There is T-Joke in the pits. That's what's going to be key here. Trebek is on the back of Van Skeppen. Wilson's on the back of Markham, and Benny's on the back of Jean Petra. You can see them all trying to find position. We'll keep an eye on this one. There is Shaw's. Is he going to go up the inside? Let's have a look. No, he isn't. He thinks better of it. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. He's going to be side by side with Lloyd. He's going to have to be absolutely confident into the braking zone. He thinks better of it. Tabs of the brake. There is Shaw in the 53. He is the boom 1-2 second Cupra in the picture. He's in that black one, the number 53. He's all over the back of the number 22. That is Lloyd. This is first and second in the championship, don't forget. It is important for Shaw's. He has to clear him in the next 3 laps, because if he doesn't, I think they're going to be level on points. It's going to be very, very tricky. Trebek is on the back of Van Skeppen, but Benny Norton, there he is. Benny Norton is now stuck behind Jean Petra again. And as we ride on board with Jean Petra, with Benny Norton, you can see Jean Petra is just ahead of him. There he is in the 44. Ahead of that, there is the Peugeot in that little 308, that white DHL one. And as we ride now from the rear camera of Jake Wilson, you can see he's got a huge 4 cars are stuck behind him. And that's the problem. Trebek is now going for Van Skeppen again, and Poddyflat's going to attempt to go around the lot of them, but he needs to be careful. He gets the car stopped and rotated. He thinks better of it. Poddy there driving conservative because he's like, I don't want to get any more points on my license. So he's actually, I think, he's actually gone up a start. He's actually, because he's being careful with his license point, he's almost turned into a, look at him. I think he's actually taken a step up in terms of his racecraft there. So I would be needless to say, I think it's actually made him a much better driver in terms of the racing and action that we're seeing, but that's just my viewpoint. Markham is now on the back of Lloyd. There is Lloyd. There is Markham. Markham crucially has the inside into turn 1. He's going to have to properly hit the brakes. There is Benny Norton. He's not going to go up the side of Jean Petra. That's just not going to happen. It is going to happen. It's not going to happen because Jean Petra is going to be right on his side. And has Poddy done it? No, he hasn't. Has Markham done it? Yes, Markham has passed Lloyd. We saw that, but we quickly flipped to the battle between Benny and Jean Petra, and those two have regained themselves all over again. So it's going to be one more bite of the cherry. There'll be one more overtaking opportunity, really, and then it is game over. But at the front, Papadim leads by Ashbourne by Van Skeppen. So Papadim will take another race victory in TCRSL, but it's first this season. Trebek is on the back of Van Skeppen. Trebek is just trying to do all he can. Van Skeppen riding on board now. He's in 3rd position. Behind his 4th, that is Simon Trebek. In 5th is Poddy. He's in the 84. He's going to try and go around the outside into that turn and hang it up the inside, but that's just not going to work through there. He's going to try and put his car, he's trying to sell him the dummy, but I think that's compromised his exit speed. Poddy just needs to be careful because the problem is he is attacking the car in front. There he is, that is 4th, and he's defending the car behind. That is Shaw's, that is 6th. He's in 5th, that is Poddy. There's Lloyd, and you can see in the background, Wilson's going to attempt to go around the outside. It's just not going to work through there. Where is Neil? He's got himself up into 14th. I think he's consigned himself to that. He's right at the back. Damaged suspensions really hurt him, but he's not really that far away. He's right at the back. Bill Campion is on the back of Kirby. So these two have been locked in battle heads. I am watching the battle for the lead. Right, we're going to flip to 3rd. This is it. There is no more after this. It is game over. If they don't do it now, they're not going to go anywhere. This is Van Skeppen. He's in 3rd. He needs to keep this solidly in this position. There's Trebek in the 27. He gives him a little of a nudge tap saying, oh, I'm here. There is 3rd, and you can see Markham riding on board now with Markham. Jean Petra, Wilson, they're all closing up. There's 44. Jean Petra, I think, has made a mistake through that corner. I think he made a mistake. I'll say mistake because I'm not entirely sure, because we didn't catch it on stream, I'm afraid. We're watching the battle for third and fourth. And in the background, Lloyd is now all the way back in 11th position. So Shaw's is all the way up to 6th. It's going to be a huge haul of points. But there is no drop scores in this league, so it's all to play for. It's the last lap. We're watching the battle in the middle. Right. I think Van Scheppen's managed to do it. Van Scheppen's in 3rd position. Behind that is Trebek. Behind that is Podiflag. Behind that is Shaw's. Behind that is Markham. There he is. They're all squabbling. Shaw's is going to attempt to go around the outside. That's just not going to work through there. He's going to get a little bit of a nudge and probably some points through there. Markham's going to attempt to go for the old switcheroo. Does he get it done? Does he hold on to it? Just enough. And you can see here Benny Norton in the background. He's attempting to go past Lloyd. He's attempting to go past Jean Petra. These two have been absolutely locked in battle for the entire race. I don't think it's going to work through there. Those two, I think, are just going to hold each other up. Yeah, I think it's game over. And I think Van Scheppen is going to hold on to 3rd position. He has been attacked lap after lap, corner after corner. Is he going to hold on to it? Riding on board now with Van Scheppen. He's in 3rd position. This is it. It's going to be a mad dash for the line. They're going to engage overdrive. He's going to park it right in the middle of the road. Sensational there. Trebek takes 4th. Flack is 5th. George is 6th. As the rest of the field comes across, we're going to watch Bill Campion and Neil come across. Derek Neil, those two between Neil and Kirby had that little coming together at the opening part of the race. They were absolutely sensational because Kirby dived up the inside but regained the position, returned the position, which is what we want to see here. Derek Neil, he is developing, he's going faster. So the guys at the back are now within, on this lap now, are now within 8 to 9% of the fastest drivers, which is absolutely sensational. There is classification. Oh, he got disqualified. Why did he get disqualified? Oh, it turns out that I can hear you all. Whoops, never mind. It looks like I never left the chat. Oh well, never mind. I've left the chat now. So there's Papadim. He is fastest lap and he's the race winner, followed by Ashbourne, Van Scheppen, Trebek, Flack, George, Markham, Wilson, Jean Petra, Norton, Deeks, Dearney, Neil, Lloyd is in 14th position. Kirby, Campion, Neil, Luke and T-Joke are, Luke was DNF and T-Joke was a dequalification, which is quite interesting. It'd be interesting to see what that was, but it is what it is. Right, there's the old logo. We did get something from the opening 6 minutes to go. Who is going to be the last of this? Estimated lap time is 3.3 in terms of the final laps remaining. Oh, Benny Norton's going to go up the inside. Sorry, that's Poddy Flack. Has he managed to do it? I don't know because the system's crashed. We'll go old school with it. We'll try and hold on. There we go. We've managed to sort it back out. Well, Poddy's going to go up the inside. Needs to be nice and careful. Oh, there's contact. There's contact between. Oh, he broke something. It looks like he broke something. Ooh, that's interesting. Right, we'll go back to the driver's chat because I eventually did actually log out of one. That was interesting. Ooh, we'll have to look at that. I think he broke his suspension. Well, I think T-Joke broke his suspension. I think. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it is one of those things. Right, that's it. That's the 3 races over tonight. Sensational racing in terms of what we had. Completely different from the normal type of racing, which is obviously on the wider tracks. It's easier to pass. You can get through. This was all very much about close quarters racing. There is naturally going to be some bunching and some little bit of door banging, but from what I saw and what we saw on stream, it generally looked absolutely sensational. As we always say, if there's anything that needs to be looked at, always submit it to the incident panels. But one of the big surprises there was Neil, with broken suspension on lap 1, managed to maintain pace for over 95% of the race, which was essential. But then he was on a recovery drive. I think Shaw's is going to be leading the championship. I think.
I couldn't tell you a thing.
So that will be super exciting. Right, we're over to the drivers in terms of what we got. So I'm gonna pick up with Simon first. My voice has recovered a little bit. I'm gonna pick up with you first, Simon, if you can hear me.
I can.
Fantastic.
Yes.
I thought you did. I thought you were going to say to be sure. I haven't had that so far this season. I'm missing out.
I'm saving it for a special day, Andrew.
Ah, so yeah, what a turn in fortunes in terms of that race. Obviously, it's been a struggle up to race 4, round 4, and then you look to just find the rhythm in terms of getting ahead, and then just drive off. Basically, no mistakes that we could see. Good, consistent pace. Is that how you felt, or was it just a case of did you have a strategy?
It was a lucky spin, wasn't it? To start P2 and have Everett behind me who was carrying a lot of ballast, and I couldn't pass him without ballast. So I knew if I could open a bit of a gap by following Nick. I didn't realise how much I was holding Nick up in race 1 because he just left me for dead. Once I was out of his slipstream, he was a second a lap faster than me in that little Alpha. And it was all, I was losing 0.3 before turn 1 on the straight.
Wow.
On every lap. So it's just insane.
Well, I think
I managed to hang on for 2 or 3 laps in his slipstream, and that was enough to pull me away from Everett.
Which was when we were talking.
Yeah,
that was your strategy.
But yeah, I mean, I will be honest. I don't think I deserved that tonight on pace alone. I think it was all about just getting lucky on the spin and managing to pull away from Everett in the early part of the race, and then just manage the tyres and try and keep consistent pace the rest.
Well, I suppose.
But I think.
Sorry.
It's all right. I think finishing 10th and 11th in the first 2 races was, that's where my pace really was. So I was very fortunate in race 3.
But then you think about it. You think about some of the wins that we've had over the season, of this season, last season, and all of the seasons. Since you've raced some of the race 3. That's what it's there for. It's designed to give that opportunity to, the drivers that wouldn't predominantly be at the front half of the grid. They've got, you've got pace. And
you mean
you're there,
not...
to be fair, even to get up to position 12 at the moment, or 11 or 10 or that side of it, that's merit, if you think about it, because we're not talking a big gap here. And if you get away at that front, because that's the thing. If you can create that gap at the front, then it's really hard for everyone to catch you because you're having to defend so difficult now. So hard.
Yeah, I think that this track in particular was very, very difficult to pass on. So I think that played into my hands a little bit tonight, especially with the lucky spin for race 3. But it also stopped me, I think, from the way I pulled away from Everett in race 3, I think I had a little bit more pace than him, but it just wasn't enough to pass. And that was the key, was passing was so difficult.
But I think that's what makes it exciting, though, is that I think what we've seen tonight is going to set us up for the final at Brands Hatch. I think it's all going to be about teammates and qualifying. It's going to be so topsy turvy. I think in terms of where it is, but in terms of your tyre wear and your tyre management as well. Obviously, we talked to Benny and we talked to Jake a bit as well about their tyre management. Did you have a strategy on that at all? Because for people who obviously watch the stream regularly, and for those who have just joined us now and thinking, "What's he talking about? It's only a computer game." It just isn't a computer game. It really does. You have to manage the tyres. Because you do lose huge performance. So were you finding that front left was also had high degradation as well?
It was. I've always been a bit of a tyre whisperer, so I think I maybe wasn't as bad as everybody else. Certainly towards the end of the race, it was getting to that point where I was starting to lose performance on the last lap or 2. But it was flashing. Orange. Is it dark orange before it goes red?
Yeah, it's orange. Yeah, it's orange.
Yeah. So it was orange. It was definitely in the orange and getting quite low, but I think I had enough to see me through to the end quite comfortably. Certainly, I think Everett behind me, judging by his pace in the first 2 races, because I was quite close to him. He's certainly seen the weight particularly
Yes.
killed the tyres tonight for the guys who were carrying ballast.
At one point, well, actually, more than half the race, towards the end of the race, well, halfway through, but not at the end. Stu Neal started last. By halfway at the race, we were on board, watching Neil on board, and you could actually see Van Skeppen at the front. That's how close the field was. You could go, oh, there he is. You could see all the way from 3rd back to 12th in one camera shot.
Fastest traffic jam in the world.
Yes, it was. I mean, to yourself as well, Jake. I mean, in that second race as well, in that third race, obviously we saw a couple of attempts on moves that you had as well, but it just looked impossible because everyone. It was kind of like, how do I sum it up? Like a DRS train. Everyone had the drive, and everyone else would just go, "Well, I'm going to try it, or I can't get past."
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you watch the real life races here, that's pretty much how they went. Every single move was into turn 1, and that's about it. I think we have better racing than they did in real life, if I had to be completely honest with you.
But the thing is,
I say that the Peugeot 1 in real life, so it must have been better then.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. That's what we're going for. It's the best sounding car. The Lincoln Co is the best looking car, but you know that. Not we got with favourites. And but you know, in terms of your overall pace in that third race, is that it's tough. I mean, because you joined us last season, and obviously you're racing again this season with us, and you've hinted at it before, mentioned before in the previous rounds that it's so close. I mean, tonight was a combination of that. Is that the track conditions, the drivers, but there was no, from what we saw, there didn't seem to be any silliness. Would I be right in saying that? Everyone was. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some door banging, but there was no silliness.
There was nothing like Zolder. What you mean? Like it wasn't cars off a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
And things didn't happen. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it wasn't an issue at all, to be honest. Like it was just tiny contact, and that's probably what got Suzuki disqualified. To be honest.
Well, no.
Like tiny. No.
No.
I'm definitely sorry.
In what race? Race 2 or race 3?
Race 3. Race 3 is where he got.
I think he broke the car. I think the car broke because on the replay, someone would have to go back and have a look. On the replay, he turns into a corner, and all you see is the car launch itself up, bang on the ground, and then just crab and stop.
To be fair, if he was on 29 incidents at that point, being in the Lincoln Co, he might actually have been. You talk about cleanliness as Aaron Markin comes into this. It's where I missed my breaking point and then realised, the 100's there, and I should probably brake and accidentally turn it into an overtaking opportunity, which I wasn't going to take advantage of, to be honest.
No, I mean, that was the other thing I saw a lot of tonight as well, which was really good, is that when there was some lunges by accident, a lot of people tried to return positions, but I think it was Van Skeppen in race 2. He returned a position to Stu Neal and lost 2 places doing it. And then had to try and push himself back into the train. It was so
probably
difficult.
Because the 5-second penalty is far more than losing 2 places.
Yeah, I think, yeah. That's the thing. A 5-second penalty is more than losing 2 places now. So just returning the position is the wise. You just return the position, and then I think it's in the rules, the default position. I think if you return the position, it tends to be less, as we've seen in previous years. I'm not saying it will be. Please do not quote me on that.
But
But generally,
you're going to be looked at less badly than if you shove someone off the road and
you've messed your own race up, basically. It's one of those.
Yeah.
So, but you must be enjoying that little 308. It is a 308, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
It is a 308. It's a lovely
you must be
car.
enjoying that little pug. Because interestingly, this is the thing that's interesting. Obviously, one of the discussion points for next season is to allow the Alfa Romeo to be run by anybody, so it won't be limited. And I think that little Alfa Romeo in the right hands is a rocket, and the 308.
The 308 is a lovely car. I just need to figure out. I just need to execute. That's genuinely it. I just need to execute. Because at Zolder, qualified second, I just didn't execute in the races.
It's consistency.
The Lausitz ring didn't qualify well, and then it just killed the races. Where were we last week? Assen, the exact same thing. Like, because all it is execution from me. Like, the car is not the problem. Like, the last 5 minutes of race 1, I found that actually the front 2 were coming back to me, to be honest. I thought Benny was gone by about 1 to 2 seconds. And he had no pressure from behind. And then all of a sudden, the gap slowly closed and closed.
It's tyre management.
And it'll be the same with, yeah, exactly. Well, I don't think it's tyre management. I think it's a combination of tyre management, plus he has 10 kilos, plus the Peugeot's a lighter car. It's the lightest car on the grid.
I was just trying to not give you racing excuses. I was just trying not to give you racing excuses there. But
I've got no racing excuses apart from I don't know how to execute. That's it. Like, the only time, because I feel like on another track, yeah, you're going to say, oh, another track. Yeah, you're very funny. It's like, what I mean by another track is, like, on another track, if I don't make that mistake mid-race and let John Pletcher pass, yeah.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I know. Fortunately, he doesn't pass. Actually, no, he does pass people on that. That's a problem. So basically, where was I?
If I was on another
I
track
don't know where I
and I
was.
was at the front and I was consistent and I didn't have ballast, I would win. That's essentially what you were saying in a short
Yeah,
period.
that is exactly what I was saying. Like, yes, if I didn't let Pletcher pass in the middle part of that race, I think I had enough confidence under breaking into 1 at the 100 that they came back to me. Because, like, in race 3, I was able to dive down the outside of Shaw's when he let me dive down the outside.
Yeah,
If he let me dive down the inside, it would have gone. I would have passed him, but he just saw that the car was fast into turn 1, and he had a lot of weight on board, of course.
Yeah, Shaw's but then, with Simon and Aaron, nice to see, welcome Aaron. Please join in with this one. Is that, Shaw's obviously 3 times champion with us, but he's very clever how he races that car. Is that if he's carrying, because he's run with 70 kilos on board and 80, he tends to not fight people that he doesn't. He goes, they're not going to be a threat to the championship at the moment. Let's just let them go. You could tell he was fighting Lloyd. That was his target.
Yes. Plus, he also saw that he actually didn't have as bad a struggle as Biddulph did in that race as well. Because, like, Verstappen held up the field, so he didn't really need to push.
No. That's an interesting... Sorry.
Oh, you go.
That's one of the interesting things. Again, I would, before I go across to yourself, Aaron, so this is open to all of you. It's one of the things interesting I'd say is that obviously Lloyd has been super quick, and he's a quick driver, and I'm not saying that he isn't, but tonight is the first time I've actually seen him struggle. It's 80 kilos on board. The tyres are really, the tyres are screaming, that front left one. But he struggled a lot more than Shaw's does with that ballast. You all got to have attack him and drive with him as well. Did you find that as well? Were you looking at that as well? Do you thinking, oh, that's different, or was it a case of he's struggling? I don't want to do anything silly.
I think with Biddulph, it's more that he just struggled with massive weight plus the track. If it was anywhere else, like, I think, what was it, Zolder, where he won race 3?
Yeah, but that was
race 3 with 80?
There was an incident.
Yeah, but he still won that race. He was still in the fight for that race. I qualified second, and he was in that pack all race. Well, qualified second. Yeah, I did qualify second, but started second.
I think if it was a track where the tyre wear wasn't as horrific as it was, he'd have probably been okay, because for the first maybe 3 or 4 laps when he's still in the tour and the tyres were still fresh and they weren't overheating, he actually had some decent pace. And it wasn't until you could basically tell as a no ballast driver when the other guy's tyres were going off, because all of a sudden it was mainly turn 1 and turn 7, the fast left kink. When your tyre overheated, you just understeered and missed the apex, and it was dead easy to then catch back up to anybody with ballast at that point. So I think lap 3, lap 4 was the crossover, but until then I couldn't get past him. I had to let Poddy and User try and have a go, because I think I swapped over at a terrible time. Because as soon as I did, them two got through, and then I got through.
Yes,
But
yeah.
he he was holding on definitely, and I think the good guys. It doesn't really matter how much weight you chuck on them. You can't really take away the raw ability. They'll even with an extra 80 kilograms, they'll still be in the top 8, like regardless. It's just in terms of qualifying, they'll always be there or thereabouts. In the race, depending on the track, they can finish as high, like Jake was alluding to there, they can finish as high as second, even win. It just depends on the characteristics. And tonight, I suppose that Lloyd was lucky in the sense that it wasn't a power track. It was very narrow, but even so, he was cancelled out by the fact that it was a really high tyre wear track. So that last corner murders the front left as well. And as after lap 4, I think I walked past him on the straight and he didn't even try and defend it. Whereas the lap before, or 2 laps before, he was defending for his life and it worked. So I think he knew himself that it was just not even worth it.
I suppose that's what makes it. But then I think that's what makes it. I think that's the without sounding rude. I'm not being rude, but and this will sound rude, but I'm not sounding rude. But that's what makes those top. We've talked about this before. The tops. There's about six to 7 in that top group. That's what makes them different. Is that they'll defend, and then they'll go, no, there's no point. I just want points.
Yeah,
and they almost
they know themselves and their own ability when they're beat.
Yeah. And they just and again, I pick up on Shaw's on this because he's when you look at the 3 championships he won, he wins a couple of races, but he just finishes in that middle position all the time. He doesn't really, he doesn't fight people he doesn't need to fight. And I'm not being rude, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean.
Exactly what you mean.
It's one of those.
He knows when to pick his battles.
Yeah, and he's very clever in race 3 as well. Is that if you watch Shaw's in race 3. That's how he statistically wins the championships. Because in race 3, he finishes, but he only picks battles he can win, and he just lets people go that he goes, not fighting you, I'm not losing time.
He's just messaged me there. But the first 2 races, I basically tried to give him the best chance he possibly could of getting past people. So I think if I can do that, like I've told him loads of times this year that as soon as you're anywhere near me, you're coming through, and I'm just going to be parking the bus. I did that. I did it to Lloyd in race 1, and then in race 3, it sort of happened again. I could have put a move on him about 2 or 3 times, and I've just thought, no. If anyone's going to win, it's going to be George, and I may as well just sit tight. There was a few times I could have lunged him, but it wouldn't have got me anywhere.
That's the thing.
Van Skeppen was defending for his life.
To be fair, on the last lap, in that last 2 corners, he just parked it right in the middle of the road. And if you actually look when he drives to the line, he puts it smack bang in the middle of the road. Trebek had a run on him, could have overtaken him, but because he parked it right in the middle of the road, Trebek would have to either go in a wall or in a grass. There was no way anyone was getting past him. He went, I'm going to go right in the middle of the road, and you can make the choice if you crash into me, because I'm not going anywhere. And it was mental. Like, Van Skeppen's defence tonight was just, in race 3, was unbelievable. I'm surprised he even finished. I'd recommend watching it back. It's mad. Because as I said to Jake before, Simon didn't really notice it in race 3 because he disappeared into the distance, is that I was on board with Neil, and you could see in the second half of the race, for most of that second half, all the way to 3rd in one train.
Oh, yeah.
It was mental.
We were all saying if those 2 guys weren't in it, the train would have just been on the front with Simon and Nick.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it wasn't for Simon and Everett, I think that the entire field had some solid pace. And because of the nature of the track, you could have had a scenario there, Neely, where the entirety of the 19-car grid would have been in the same frame. How ridiculous is that?
Well, to be fair, 17 were in the same frame, or 15, for most of the race. And it was brilliant. Like, it was I mean, that's what Ballast and Race 3 is designed to do, in terms of its. And he nearly missed it as well. I saw that he had a game crash.
Oh man!
On the chat, if you
Goodness sake.
read on the chat, his game crashed. So he had to restart the game, get back in, and still then put that drive in. It was.
I tell you what. As we go into, obviously we've got our week break and we go to Red Bull Ring. I think now is the time where you really kind of don't want the ballast. Red Bull Ring is not a track you want to be 80
absolutely
kilograms
not.
at.
Well-
You're just going to be past every
Well, I'm
single straight.
hoping that T-Joke can power through in his in the Lincoln Co. That's what I'm hoping, because it's a good car, good looking car, lots of power. That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, he'll probably have less ballast, plus he'll just have the pure power down the straight. So you might not have a bad. That might not be a bad shout.
So I've just loaded the server data into the results sheet, and in quali, do you want to hear the biggest gap between P1 and P15 is 0.289.
Wow.
What the heck?
It is
Whoa.
so close. And if you look at where's my file? The times from P1 to P13 is just under a second.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I noticed that because I
Quality
looked
was
at that.
so close, so close, and even down to P15, it's only 1.3 seconds.
See that it's mad close. And the guys at
It
the
is.
back, when we started, they were around, I think it was around 15 to 20% off the qualifying, the front of the qualifying. They're now less than
Yeah.
10%. They're less than
Yeah.
that, actually. If it's 1.4, it's less than.
Let's have a look.
I feel like it'd be a lot less than that. Yeah.
It would be a lot less than that, but that is mental. That's
103%.
Yeah.
The P19 was 103% off pole.
which is absolutely insane. But then we alluded to this last week in the fact that you just can't make mistakes now.
No.
You're not running around with 2-3 cars. You're running around with a pack of cars, and one mistake, and that's it. You're losing 3, 4, 5 positions.
I think I got a little bit lucky tonight. In race 2, I was 3 wide into turn 1 and managed to survive and come out in front. And I think it was race 1, I outbraked myself with Everett into turn 1. Unfortunately, he saw me coming, and we just swapped back places on the exit to turn 1. Luckily, and we had a bit of a gap, so I didn't lose out. But those are the only mistakes I've made tonight. Thank God. I've actually finished all 3 races for the first time this season.
Hey, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I finished all the races.
Okay.
Ignores all the race.
Next
whatever
time
it
at
was
Red Bull
where I
Ring.
paused that.
Can I have a little victory just to celebrate, Jake? Okay.
I have 2 podiums. You have another podium.
I
We both
did
finished.
get
We
a
both
podium.
completed the 3rd place sweep.
Well, no, I got P2.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in all fairness, it was down to the spin of the wheel. It wasn't down to anything that I particularly did other than holding people off.
But then that makes it exciting, though, I think. I enjoy that spinning wheel. I mean, obviously, we've reduced it, so it's now dependent on, but it's maximum of 12 down to 1, because obviously there was 19 in. I mean, how are you finding that spinning wheel? Obviously, is it exciting? I think it's brilliant, but I would say that.
This week, my opinion is it needs to be reduced. Last week is my opinion that it needed to be increased.
So it's working perfectly for you then.
No,
Yourself, Aaron, if he's still there.
I'm still here.
He's still there.
I love it. I'm glad that we're doing reverse grids because it means that obviously in seasons gone by we've done full reversals, and that kind of means that race 1 and race 2, if you're not in the top 10, there's almost an incentive to drop back. Whereas now it's like you really do have to scrap in the mid pack to get a good position for race 3. So I like the fact that we don't go all the way back to 16 and 14. It actually means that you really do have to be on a decent pace to get a good reverse grid for the last race, and it also means that the guys at reverse grid pole sort of deserve to be there. They're not a million miles off the pole pace, and it makes for a great race 3.
And they're not terrified of being on pole as well. Like,
Yeah,
they actually want to be there instead of just being brought to the front and taken away from the guys they're fighting with. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the format's been developed because obviously season 1, we were full reverse grid till what, season 4? And then season 4.
No, season 3. It was season 3. Season 3, 1, 2, and 3 had full reversal.
And then 4 was to 15, and then it was changed after Blisterberg.
Yeah.
And then it's now in the new format, which is 12, which I think is about, depending on how fast the drivers are, I think 12's about right for the maximum at 19.
Yeah.
Because I think
if we had a 24-car grid, you'd maybe say, okay, well, we might do it to 14, but we're not at that stage yet.
No, and I think the racing is a lot. I think the racing now is I think it's taken a. It's. I think I alluded to this, and again, please step in. It's open to all of you. And I know we're talking about it a lot, but I mean, tonight I thought there was another level of. It took another level up again, in terms of, you had to be so precise, and it was. I didn't find it boring at all. I found it super exciting, because yes, the overtakes were very low, but the risk was way up.
Yeah, it was quite. It was high risk, high reward, wasn't it?
Yes.
A bit. This is going to be boring, but it's a bit like a golf shot on a tricky hole. You can go over the water and risk it and get on the green, and you look fantastic if you do it. And if you don't, you look like a fool.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's pretty much what it's like now in the touring cars. You can try that move and be a hero, but if it doesn't go well for you, you're not just losing one position. You go into the back.
Yeah. And if you get a 5-second penalty, you're not you actually lose more. Like Jake was saying, you lose more positions than if you just gave the position back.
It actually makes the racing quicker as well, because I don't know how much you guys follow MotoGP, but because they do a sprint race format now on a Saturday, the sprint races, even though they're shorter in distance, actually end up having a longer race time, because people see it as we don't have to look after the tyres, we don't have to look after the fuel, we'll just start attacking each other. And they actually end up as slower races. So now the field is stepped up as much as it has. The risk of overtakes is so much higher. It actually means that you drive a lot faster, because you're not battling each other and slowing each other down. It's almost like a game of chess.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for the guy in front to sort of make the wrong move, and you slip through, and that's it. It's mad. It's like, it's so tense. Every lap you have to give 99%, because if you don't, the guy behind will, and he'll come through. It's not like seasons gone by where there's clear, definitive gaps. Look at race 3. There's 17 cars there ready to have a go.
And I think that, like you were saying, it's high risk, high reward. It's high risk, high reward now. You're not just, you've got to manage so many things, because in seasons gone past, you'd get a penalty, you get 5 seconds, and you'd be like, oh, I'll lose 5 seconds. I might lose a place.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I'm going to lose about 5 places or 6 places. I could have just given it back. And I think that's calmed it down, but it's also made it, I think it's made it more intense. You can see that in the driving. People are a lot more forgiving with going door to door, I think would be the way I describe it.
I think the track contributed that tonight, because you couldn't get door to door.
Yes.
You just couldn't get there, even with the fastest car. I mean, look how much faster Nick was in the last race than me. And in the other 2 races, he was all over me, but couldn't get alongside.
But then in previous season, when we ran at Zandvoort, it was incident related all over the place. I mean, everyone was diving up the inside of everybody. Everything was bang doors.
We had a wider range of cars then, though. There are a lot of Cupras this year.
Yes.
Well, this season.
Yeah,
I think
I can't remember the last time
it's
I
gone
saw
from
it.
a league.
Sorry, Aaron.
Sorry, I was just going to say I think it's gone from a league of trying to overtake the car in front to, well, let's work together. We'll all come through.
I think
There's definitely a bit more maturity in the driving.
Yeah,
I think racing at Sonoma with Phil, when Phil Lawson showed the value of a teammate, it almost felt like it'd taken that, and this season is just an evolution of that, where he basically gave Shaw's the championship by sacrificing his own race 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And statistically, he could have won it. He could have actually won the championship. So, I think, like you said, I think the driving is more mature, and there seems to be a lot of these drivers now all race with the same drivers in other leagues. So I wonder if that has a effect on it as well. In terms of,
I think it does. I mean, how many Trip 6 guys have we got in the league now? 4?
4, 3 now, because Rich Weatherhill isn't. Weatherhill. Sorry, Rich.
But they were all on similar pace, and they all know how to race each other. And we're what, 4 races in now, and we all know what Lloyd and Pascal and Simon are capable of doing. I'm pretty confident going side by side with all of them now. So I think they're all settled in, and we're all settled with them.
How will the class system change with Weatherhill leaving anyway? Are we going to add 2 relegated spots, or just treat him as a relegated spot?
Group A was the biggest group anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's only ever been 1.
Okay, so I can celebrate staying up.
Yes. And he's talking about the league, not about other things. If anyone wants to,
I really can't celebrate the other thing. No way we can celebrate the other thing.
But yeah, no, it's done through. So yeah, it's only 1 position goes up, because we did run it in another league and it was the top 3. But it got, if you remember, Aaron, it got really messy, because sometimes the 3rd position wasn't right to go up. So it adds an extra dimension to it, because it slows people. It not slows people down, but again, like we were alluding to, it adds more risk, because you want to win your group so you can go up to the next group, but equally you don't want to mess it up and then be right down the bottom of a group. So it makes it exciting. I think it's going to make it exciting. Well, it is exciting. But yeah, so yeah, that's brilliant. Any final thoughts in terms of where we are? What you think? Because obviously we're going into the break now.
I've sent you the table as it stands on DM if you want to have a quick look.
I could. Right, it'll actually show up on my stream. So if anybody's watching this live now, it is provisional. It's all provisional, depending on incidents. So as it currently stands, let's have a look. I don't know if you're watching this. So Lloyd is still winning on 156. Shaw's has closed the gap to 142. Van Skeppen's 3rd on 127, and he's equal with Jean Petre on 120. Oh, Van Skeppen. It's because he's had more victories. Benny Norton's 5th. Trebek's 6th. Markham 7th. Flack is 8th. Poddy had a good week this week. I even said that on stream. He seems to have taken a step back, and he's gone much quicker. T-Joke 9th.
Yeah, I think we've shown that a bit in the last few weeks as well, because he had a decent qualifying ad. I think it might have been Assen, and he just got unlucky in the races.
Yeah.
It was in one of those older Assen.
Wow, Neil's in 11th.
Oof, living heck. Am I still on 12th?
I have
provisional 10th.
Despite getting a P2 and a good haul of points, all it's done is close the gap to P15. I haven't actually moved up a place. I was that far behind.
But Martin Kirby's got a point.
Good for him.
Really good for him.
It is really difficult to get a point if you're
That's
on
the thing. To get a point within the driver's table is a huge reward. Yeah. Actually, that's really good. That's absolutely wicked. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's wow. Shaw's is going to be after Lloyd. That's going
I
to...
feel like I had a purpose tonight now after that.
Dougie got a point in race
Dougie got a
1
point as well.
P15.
Look how close it is. It's so...
Still yet to get a point.
Send me that screenshot, Simon, after this is done, and I'll add the ballast to the server.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
That's going to be... Shaw's is playing the long game. He
is.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to wanting to go into the last round with 70 kilo.
We have a tactic. We have a tactic.
Yeah, but again, some people might say, "Oh, that's not exciting." I think that's absolutely brilliant because it adds an extra dynamic to the whole thing. Because you are going to have to do, you can't just turn up and drive fast. You have to have a strategy, and it's going to be exciting because obviously Jean Petre is teammates to Lloyd, but they haven't really been running together at the moment. And at some point, they're going to have to make a choice, I think.
Yes.
I know that myself
it's going to be a bit Ferrari in 2008 where they have to decide the right guy. Otherwise, they're just going to screw themselves long term. You're just going to drop the points.
I know myself and George really want to win the teams as well. I think the Drivers' Championship is fully invested in Shaw's. And I said that from day one because I wasn't going to have time to practice this year. But I think in terms of teams, we needed Pascal in race 1 and 2 to kind of have a bummer to catch back up. But I think failing anything from Pascal, they're pretty much nailed on for the teams, unless I can pull some magicianry out of the top hat.
You've got to find 40. You're 40 points behind on the teams, Aaron.
Is that it?
Yeah, 40 points.
I thought it was like 80.
Well, no, because don't forget, Lloyd finished what? He finished 7th.
Yeah, he went backwards a bit tonight.
And 10th. And Jean, 7th, 10th, and then somewhere in the middle. And Jean Petre finished second, and 11th, I think. It's topsy-turvy.
He was 9th. He was behind me at 9th.
It's all to play for. This is what I'm talking about. It's nuts. Tracks like tonight, qualifying, I think, has become... I know it's always been important, but qualifying, I think, has just become one of the most important things. You've got to get a good qualifying now. And as Simon was saying, first to the back of the grid, 1.5, 1.6 seconds? You're not running around in a 3-second gap anymore. You're running around in less than, half a second. Oh,
it's not easy to pass those guys at the back.
You know what the really weird thing is? I had the race 3 was my best result, but I enjoyed the other 2 races more because they were far closer for 11th and 10th.
But that's what it's about, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Because of the gap behind me and Nick pulling away from me, it was just me pootling around on my own in race 3 after the third lap.
I'm going to be honest.
I enjoyed the first 2 much more.
I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't watch race 3 because if you're going to see yourself, because you're not in it.
It's just me on my own.
I think Papa Dim's in it for all of about 20 seconds. I don't even cross to you two when you cross the line because I'm busy watching Van Skeppen in third.
Yeah, because he's got literally everybody else behind him.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that if you're leading on your own or in second on your own, you pretty much get no airtime because that's not where the action is.
Yep. See, I get my first win at Motegi and I got no coverage on it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, you're on your own. I'm like, I go where the action is. That's what I do. That's brilliant. And I think that's going to be super exciting. I think we're going to get to this. It's going to be a battle of because obviously you've got the Drivers' Championship and then you've obviously got the Class Championships as well. So I think it's going to be exciting to the second half of the season. It's been exciting so far. And I think the racing has taken a proper notch up. So, right. Any final words before I go? Because we've got 3 minutes left.
No, I don't have any.
No? Right, well...
I have 2 chassis in the Peugeot if anyone wants to join that.
You'll be looking for a Peugeot buddy next year.
I can't switch. I can't switch now because I've actually scored some points.
Yeah,
It's
because
not even a guy who's like really quick in that anyone knows in the Peugeot. It's just like I turn up to ranked and they say, "Oh, it's that guy in the Peugeot again."
do you know what? I do know someone who's faster than a Hyundai.
Yes, but that's not a Peugeot. That's the opposite thing to a Peugeot.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It'd be
I
interesting.
know Phil Lawson's fast in a truck as well.
Yeah, he's just faster than anything he drives, to be honest. Right, well, I'm going to leave you all go. Thank you very much for joining us for the comms. Thank you very much for the racing so far. Enjoy your week off, and we will be back in 2 weeks. So, yeah, thank you very much, gents.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I will
no.
actually hang up the call this time and not stay in it.
Hey.
Right. Bye-bye. So there we go. I've actually exited the chat now, which is quite surprising. So yeah, what a race. What an absolutely cracking race. Thoroughly enjoyed that, as always. I pressed the wrong button. I meant to go to that button. Yeah, so yeah, good luck. Thank you very much to Via Creation. And before we go, Via Creation, who are the sponsor for the Via Creation Trophy. And before I go, it's this one. I do not forget that we have Tripsticks Motorsports coming up this Friday. This Sunday, rounds 15 and 16 at Donington Park, 8 o'clock. Check them out. It was really, really swift. There we go. Lloyd's come on. Weight was so hard at this track with tyres were shot at the end of lap 3. There we go. So we finally got some information from Lloyd. It was tyres. It's absolute tyres. So he's going to be carrying maximum ballast provisionally for next race. So it will be fun. Super exciting. Right. That's it from me, and enjoy the rest of your evening.